What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the One Up Podcast. I am your host, El Caballo, aka Tony, here with some of my nearest and dearest friends and family member, I would say. Pucho,
What's up?
Doughboy,
What's going on, guys?
and Mateo.
What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Just another Sunday here, alive and well. What's going on with you, Mateo? How's your morning kicked off so far?
Oh, dude, I'm an hour before y'all, so still starting slow.
Texas.
I forgot about that.
This is the absolute first thing I do in the morning on Sundays, apparently.
Nothing wrong with that. Make it sound bad. What's up with you, Doughboy?
I have a hard time getting up this early, so I could only imagine if I would have to get up at like 7:30 to get like prepared.
Oh, you're on that. You're on
My
that.
daughter wakes me up at 7 something every morning, so it doesn't matter. I got an alarm clock every day.
Yeah, so other than the baby, what's going on else with you, Pooch?
Nah, man, just working, playing video games, watching TV, pandemic life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, getting tired of that shit, man. I've been wanting to go up to fucking to your house for the longest now. So
Sure.
TV wise, have you guys watched any show lately? I started watching WandaVision, and I don't really like it that much. Maybe I just got to continue to watch it, but I don't know. What do you guys think on it?
What do you dislike about it?
I think it's just that old, like, black and white vibes. Like, the first episode was really hard for me to like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. Have everybody here watched it? At least the first episode?
I've watched all 4 episodes that are out so far.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I've watched up to like the first 5 minutes of episode 4.
And I am going to continue my not being able to contribute to any of the shows that we talk about in the first round. I haven't watched it yet.
It's a bold strategy, dude.
Yeah, I have. But if you guys need to explain it very well so that I can know what y'all talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so that whole black and white thing, maybe I don't know. It gives it vintage, like it's a time setting, right? It's telling you pretty much what era they're in and whatever. I don't know. To me, it just feels like superheroes trying to normalize their life and you know, be blended with the other normal people, I guess, right? But I don't know.
So that's it. That's actually interesting. Pooch, how would you describe the show? Like, what would you have to sum it up for Doey to sell him on it? How would you describe the show?
For me, I would say it's like Pleasantville meets like the Truman Show with like some supernatural elements like thrown in there.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean they're superheroes, so they got superpowers, but they're just trying to live like a normal life, and they've kind of inserted themselves into like this like. I don't know. Have you ever watched Pleasantville?
It's like maybe. Yeah. Pleasantville was like, it was that old schooly. Didn't it have Brendan Fraser?
No.
Who was there?
Toby Maguire.
Toby Maguire.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. I remember.
Do you remember the TV show Even Stevens?
Oh, yeah.
Remember in the intro to that show, they get sucked into the TV when they're fighting with the remote? They jacked that from Pleasantville. That's the plot of Pleasantville. They're fighting over the remote and they get sucked into. Well, they break the controller. Some random guy shows up and replaces the controller with this special remote. And they fight over that one. They get sucked into this TV, and they're like in some like 1950s like sitcom or something.
Wasn't it like black and white until like some shit goes on fire, and then it's like color?
Yeah. So WandaVision has elements just like that.
Yeah, there's a very similar thing. There's a helicopter she finds in a bush at one point, and it's in bright red color, is very vibrant. This woman cuts her hand. The blood that comes out of her hand is bright red on these like completely black and white shots. I mean, if y'all want some spoilers, season 4 basically starts to answer questions for the show. That's where everything kind of ramps up.
All right, so I just got to keep fucking treading.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. It's weird. It's probably one of the weirdest like Marvel properties that I've ever seen.
I mean, that's why a lot of people like it. Sorry.
Yeah, there's some nefarious shit going on. I think the bad guy, the big bad in the show, might be Wanda herself. Maybe not intentionally, but trauma does weird things.
Yeah.
Man, there's a real fucked up shot in episode 4. So Vision is dead, obviously, right? We all know that because we've seen the movie. Vision dies, and then he gets the crystal ripped out of his head. There's a scene where she's talking to Vision, and she glances away, she looks back at him, and it is him, like, his head is caved in from, like, where the crystal was taken out, and he's like this reanimated corpse talking to her, basically. And she freaks out, she looks away, and he's back to normal again. There's some weird shit going on in the show. That is definitely some odd stuff.
So this has ties to everything else in the Marvel universe?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think even beyond that, I think it has ties both to the Marvel universe, and I think that this show is going to try to bring in like the Fox characters, so like all the X-Men and like Wolverine and Deadpool. Like I think it's going to be kind of like a bridge, and then this is like Disney's attempt to like bridge the two universes.
So y'all think this is like a more adult show? Because what y'all are describing seems like not very Disney.
I think so.
You think but I mean, like branching out into like more adult type, more mature content?
I mean, that's kind of what we've seen from Marvel, though. So Marvel and DC have these two different approaches to their shows, right?
Yeah.
All the Marvel shows are kind of dark. The movies are super lighthearted. Like the movies are goofy popcorn movies you can watch with your kids, right? Or better or worse, they have a plot, like a similar plot line that they all follow. But their shows tend to be dark. I mean, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had some fucked up stuff in it. I mean, covered that. What is his name? Agent Coulson coming back to life, basically.
Yeah.
Jessica Jones, like it was all about trauma and her being mind controlled and doing fucked up things. Like all their shows are dark. DC is basically the opposite. DC movies are dark as fuck. Their shows are super lighthearted. Look at any of those goofy CW shows.
Yeah, my brother Jeff loved those shits like Arrow and Flash, and
yeah, some of them are good though. Like I don't think I finished Flash, but it was pretty good.
I don't think I've seen a single episode of any of them. They look goofy. They look campy, which I mean that's comic books, right? Like comic books are goofy and campy just in general.
But yeah, I mean, from the Marvel shows, the only ones that I've actually seen are well, not even the only ones. The singular one that I've watched is Daredevil. I've seen season 1 and then like half of season 2. I don't even remember why. I kind of just petered out for me. But the episodes just felt so long. But I enjoyed season 1 for sure, and season 2 was also good. Punisher was one of my favorite characters, like as a kid growing up. So, they picked a good actor and stuff. I don't know. Maybe I should continue it. And I've never watched Jessica Jones or Iron Fist or the other guy.
I never saw Iron Fist. Jessica Jones is probably my favorite of the batch.
Wasn't there an episode of recently where I forgot what's the black guy's name? It's like a Netflix
Cage.
show.
Oh, Cage.
Yeah, doesn't he do like a dab at the end of the episode or something like that?
Does he? I don't think I saw that.
All I seen was like him dabbing at the end of the episode.
Damn, I didn't see any of that.
Yeah, but like what Mateo was mentioning about like the lighthearted movies from Marvel, it's kind of why I like the Black Panther movie, because it felt like a little, especially like the first half of that movie, felt much darker than like a typical Marvel movie. I don't know. I prefer the I don't know, the dark themes of like the DC movies over like the lighthearted like Marvel movies. Even though I totally admit that the DC movies are pretty trash at this point. Like I feel like beyond like the Nolan trilogy and like Watchmen and V for Vendetta, I don't want to watch anything else from like the DC movies.
I always forget that Watchmen is part of the DC universe.
That'd be a good movie.
They got a TV show on HBO now. That shit is awesome.
That TV show is amazing.
Yeah.
Does it explain more? Because the movie, to me, I watched the movie twice, and it didn't really like explain a lot. I guess.
I don't think it does actually, because it's kind of its own separate story. It's like a story inspired by these characters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's almost as if like I don't know, like almost like 20 years after the events of the Watchmen, this is when it's taking place.
And you'll spend the first 6 episodes of that show just going, "What the fuck did I just watch?"
Uh,
Yeah, that's
The first time she pulls off the road because there's squids falling out of the sky and landing on her fucking windshield. You're like, "What the fuck is going on in this goddamn show?"
the fuck? Yeah.
Just like
Squids.
that.
That's fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
But now, but then you was gonna bring up a point because when I said that it has a weird vibe, like the 70s black and white vibe, you was getting to some point when it came to that.
Yeah, it's changes every episode. Like the first episode set in like the 1950s. The second one is like a 1960s sitcom. The episode that I've got into like they're at like the 1970s. It's a full color episode. They finally started showing like the column boxing on the side.
Yeah.
There's a scene where they just slowly expand it out, so it's actually taking up your full widescreen monitor.
Was that on episode 4?
I think it's on episode 4.
Because I only watched like the first few minutes of episode 4, but I remember seeing that. Like, there's a scene where she's doing something like channeling energy or something. You literally see the letterbox sort of just fade into like a widescreen. And then previous to that, something similar happened where the world just like became color.
Yep.
So yeah, that's cool. I didn't really notice that each episode was kind of like jumping in time or something.
Yeah, they rearranged the house. It's a new house. They're doing interesting things. Episode 4 explains kind of what's going on a little bit, but it's gonna be a wild season. It's gonna do some weird shit.
Is this gonna be like a small? Each season like an 8-episode thing, or is it gonna do like a little bit longer than that? Because nowadays shows are doing like small amount of episodes. They're doing like 8 or 9, 10 at max.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. I don't know if they've announced how many episodes they actually filmed.
Yeah,
I
saw on IMDb. It was like 9 episodes. Like I saw one of the actors was in for 9 episodes, so it might be 9 or 10.
That would make sense. I mean, like The Mandalorian was 8 episodes per season.
Mm-hmm.
But there were 8 good-ass episodes.
They were. Oh, follow-up to Mandalorian talk, by the way. They've confirmed there's going to be a 3rd season.
Wow, that's surprising.
It's not gonna release till like 2022 though.
I have a question. Who is Bill Burr's character in that show? Because I know he's in the show.
He's a random stormtrooper, or he's a former stormtrooper who's now like I don't know, it's like a criminal, I guess.
Gun for hire.
Right. That's his character.
Small part, or like he has a part in the show?
I think he's in 2 episodes out of the whole 16 episode like run so far.
He gets like a little like redemption arc though, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely one of the side characters that, in my view, has some of the most like they introduce a little bit about his character. They make you kind of hate him. Then they bring him back in, and you're like, well, maybe he has some redeeming qualities. And then by the end, you're like, I kind of like this guy. So I don't know. I think they did a good job with someone like, he had a whole character arc in just 2, really like an episode and a half, really. But
I'd be surprised if we don't see more of him, honestly, in upcoming seasons.
For sure.
Yeah. But now the Mandalorian show, is it still going to be, the Mandalorians, or is it going to be a whole different group?
There's going to be 2 shows. There's going to be the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh my God! Did you finish season 3? I'm sorry. Did you finish season 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh wow! Okay.
Okay. Good. This is some of the stuff I didn't want to mention last time we were talking about this. But
and then there's going to be another season of The Mandalorian.
Okay.
I mean, there's still a lot of unanswered questions, right? There's the whole the sword thing and all that fun stuff.
Right.
That's dope.
The Darksaber stuff. There's like whether the Mandalorian woman, I don't even remember her name, if she's gonna like try to become Mandalore.
Oh yeah, that's right. But she can't because he has the saber.
For now, man. He didn't kill her.
She's got to defeat him in combat, right? That's the only way she can save her.
Right. So she
and I like that
challenge
twist
him again.
too. That was a very good twist. He was like, "Okay, you beat me. Now the friends become enemies type vibe is. I think that's fucking amazing." And also the whole Fett saga coming up, that shit's gonna be fire because Star Wars, to me, Star Wars did a piss poor job on the whole Fett. Like, they put him in and whatever, but there was not enough of him. Obviously, you know, death and all that, but still, like, I was always interested in that group of people.
My problem with Boba Fett is this is the first time they've actually shown why Boba Fett is like a badass, right? Because like all you see of him in the original trilogy is Darth Vader telling him no disintegrations. And then he gets his ass kicked by a blind man with a staff or whatever the fuck it was.
Yep.
His whole purpose is just to look badass.
Yeah, I think. What was that?
The way he dies is kind of shitty too. I'm like,
What was it? Luke's like, oh my god, it's Boba Fett. And I'm sort of like, Boba Fett, where? He turns, smacks him with the staff, and Boba Fett goes, oh, falls into the Sarlacc pit. And you're like, okay. No, I was an infamous, like, I've been like a huge Boba Fett fan. And for me, it's really like the comic books and stuff like that, like all the expanded universe stuff that makes the character cooler for me. I think back in the day, what made Boba Fett so like infamous, like for the fans, I would imagine, is that like Empire Strikes Back comes out and it's mysterious. Darth Vader kind of shows this guy some respect. You're like, hold up, the baddest dude in the universe is in the galaxy showing this guy respect. And then, you know, they capture Han Solo, put him in carbonite, and then you got to wait years until Return of the Jedi. So then you got speculation. Fans are talking about this. Like, I think that whole like buildup is sort of why fans kind of became enamored with him, like back in the day. Because yeah, if he showed up in that movie and that all that happened, and then he got knocked into the pit, I don't think anybody would be talking about Boba Fett. Like.
Yeah.
You got to sell those action figures, dude.
Yeah, I mean, and what was that?
The action figures look pretty dope too.
Yeah,
I got one sitting on top of my books back there. It's hard to see, but
one of the original ones.
Nah.
They're probably worth some money right now too. Mint condition.
They're worth a lot of money. Yeah, those there's a Netflix TV show that I had watched. Not the whole thing, but I think only one episode. It's like about the toys. It's like the toys that define us, or it's called something like that.
I've got that one on my list to watch. I haven't watched any episodes yet.
Yeah, it's like I think each show is like about a different TV show, or it's like about a different like I don't know, movie universe or something like that, or cartoon. So like I think that they talk about Star Wars, they talk about G.I. Joe, and I don't even remember what else. But yeah, they were just talking about like how the different runs of like the Star Wars like action figures were like such a big deal, and you know, just how much the action figures were changed like from release to release, and they're these like crazily like coveted like items that people want, and they're worth like a ton of money and shit like that. So I thought it was a pretty interesting show. I watched a lot of random TV shows, feeding my daughter in the middle of the night. She's like when she was like waking up a lot, and I'd like have to hold her for like 30 minutes to like digest her food, and I'm like, dude, I gotta stay awake.
30 minutes.
I watched. It's a whole thing. We could talk about it later. 30 minutes. Like her doctor recommended like basically whenever like a newborn eats, you got to hold them upright for 30 minutes just to they digest their food. I don't know, man. I hated the idea of this because it would be like, yo, look, she woke up, all right, in the middle of the night. It's 3:30 in the morning. You're like, fuck. You wake up, oh shit, I gotta wash bottles. You gotta wash bottles. Then you gotta prepare a bottle. Then you gotta change your diaper. Then you feed her. That whole situation's already taken like 30 minutes of your life or so. And then you got to hold her for another 30 minutes. And then you fall asleep or then you go to sleep after that. That whole thing's taking you an hour. the baby got to eat every 2.5 hours. Like that's like the most amount of time like you could wait. So like now you only got like an hour and a half to sleep before she's gonna wake up again, or you should wake her up to eat, or else she could like die of starvation in her sleep. So like,
God,
yeah,
Fucking crazy. Well, since we're talking about babies, I had an interesting conversation with my mother and my family. And it came about raising a kid. Since all of you know that my kid's gonna be born in a couple months here. My mother wanted to ask me a question. She was like, "Oh, so how are you gonna raise your son? Like, oh, is he gonna be like how you were, rebellious and whatever the hell the case is?" I'm like, "No, I'm gonna raise him to be respectful, better than I was growing up, because you know everyone's childhood growing up is different, and especially in the Spanish household, like it's not normal for which I know some of y'all would understand, like your mother and the way your father talks to you and treat you, especially if you're a girl or a boy." I was telling him like, for a boy, for my son, I'm gonna definitely teach him manners, respect, and I'm gonna trust him, and you know just how I think it should be. And she's like, "What do you mean? Like, oh, so if you had a daughter, she wouldn't be able to go out?" I was like, "No, I'll give her the same respect." I mean, they're both going to have bedtimes and stuff. And then my mom was shocked by it. She was like, "Oh, but it's a girl. Like, they can't be out at night, this and that." I was like, I could see that. But at the same time, it's like, if you trust them and you instill, like, good shit in them, like, they're not going to be bad. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to make decisions in life, but they got to understand with every decision or action is a reaction to what you're going to do. And she was just shocked. She was like, "Oh, no, like, you know, girls can't do certain things," which in my mindset is still, I feel like that in some ways, right? Like my son wants to have some friends over late at night, cool, whatever. Girls or guys, I think it's fine, whatever. Same thing with my daughter. If I had one, I would probably be the same way, but I'll be more like alert if it was just her and a boy. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe that's probably sexist to say or something, but to me, I think like, I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? You think I'm bugging out by saying like I'll be a little bit more alert just if it's just my daughter and a dude in the house?
Wait, so first off, your goal is to just have your kid be respectful. You want them to be more respectful than you.
Yeah, as a kid growing up,
or like Doey, in for example, who I heard is the most disrespectful person in the planet.
Oh, I know. I saw that in text. I heard he was getting kicked off the pod. I was shocked. I didn't even know what was going on.
Super disrespectful. No manners. But no, yeah, like it's just because when I was growing up, I saw a lot of my parents like arguing and shit. So, and like they would scream a lot. And that kind of without even knowing, that normalizes shit in your head as growing up as a kid. So me growing up, I was always loud. Like Pucho, I have debates and arguments with Pucho all the time, and he'd be like, "Yo, why are you screaming?" And I say to myself, I don't fucking know why. I'm fucking screaming though. Like I'm gonna beat you with my fucking loudness. Like it. And growing up, and it's weird because it's like I look back at it, I'm like, damn. Like maybe me growing up kind of fucked me up in some ways. Like, and I'm not blaming my parents, right? Sort of, but not really. Like, I'm just saying, like, I got to do better than that. Like, if I'm arguing with my wife or something like that, I'm not going to do it in front of the kid. You know what I mean? Because, like, it's crazy how growing up you realize, like, damn, that shit fucked me up. You know what I mean? And I don't know how it is for anybody else or any of you guys, but, you know, some parents talk to you a little bit more honest, like, in a brute way. I don't know if it's because it's a Spanish household or not, but they'll be telling you, "Oh, pendejo," like idiot, you fucked up. Like, what do you know what I mean? Like, and to that was normal for them because that's how they grew up. So it's just like changing is what I want to do for my kid. Give him a different view. He doesn't have to be a loud ass or be aggressive all the time.
I mean, Pucho is literally raising a daughter right now. Do you think that you would? Are there things you're planning on enforcing with your daughter that you wouldn't do with a son?
Probably as So like, all right, let me preface this with saying, like, in a perfect world, I think you should probably, like, you should treat, a son or a daughter no different, I would imagine. But I think we live in an imperfect world, right? I think like women are unfortunately more vulnerable when they come in contact with men, and there's shitty men out there, and of course there's shitty women too. But a shitty woman could do, X amount of damage to a man, like physically, and like the inverse is like men tend to have like a disproportional amount of strength in comparison. So like, I don't know. I feel like situations could arise that I'm gonna be a little bit more defensive about. But I do realize that I grew up a certain way, and I'm trying to like I don't know. I don't even know how to say that, like, because I don't even have sisters, right? So like, I never even saw like my parents raise a girl, so I don't know how they even did it to do it differently or whatever, or do it that way, or I have no example there. So for me, the main thing is just to like make sure they're prepared. And I would do that for a boy as well, right? But I feel like, especially for female, for women, it's a more prevalent situation. It's something crazy, like 7 out of 10 or 6 out of 10 women end up in some type of like sexual, like not harassment, Jesus, like the
Abuse,
word,
assault.
right, like a sexual assault type of situation.
Yeah.
And then when you look in like harassment, the number's even higher. And the maybe something similar happens to men too, but culturally it doesn't affect us as much because we don't view it as bad, or I don't know. Point is, I feel like there's a lot of ways that a woman can have a traumatic experience. I feel like there's more ways that a woman can have a traumatic experience. Or the likelihood for them to have a traumatic experience is higher. So I think just preparing the same way that like I'm me, my brothers, most of our family, right? We're dark skinned people, right? The same way I gotta like coach my kids on like how to behave around police officers and stuff like that. Like that's something that maybe people that are lighter skinned don't have to worry about as much. So for me, it's just about preparing your kids to do well in the world, I guess, right? You just want to set your kids up for success.
When you say preparing, especially when it comes to cops, right? Are you saying that like you're gonna teach her like, oh, this is the cops? Like are you gonna instill fear in a way? Like when you tell her, oh, this is the cops, like almost not a scare tactic, but like in a way where she's gonna be like, oh my God, it's the cops. Like I'm already nervous now. Or are you gonna try to raise it to where she's like, yo, just if a cop approaches you, just be relaxed and calm and respectful and just don't be doing dumb things. Like, because there's a way that people would explain shit.
But there's a problem with that, though, right? Like that gets into a whole different thing. But there's a problem with that, right? It is not your duty to be calm in a perfect world. It's not your duty to be calm and rational and easygoing for the cop who is supposed to be the peacekeeper that's supposed to come and save you and help with situations.
Right. So again, it goes back to that same thing, right? In a perfect world, there should be no coaching required. These cops would have perfect training, and even if your kid or a person was disrespectful or unruly or even combative, like physically, these cops should be able to restrain them and do the right thing. If someone's trying to kill a cop, I think it's within their right to defend their lives. I mean, they got a family too, you know what I'm saying? But it just seems like violence is the answer too quickly. Like it too rapidly gets to violence. So for me, it's not to instill a fear, it's to teach them the reality of the situation. Like, even if you both have guns, even if you try to defend yourself because you think you're in the right, to the world and to the courts and to the cops, you're in the wrong. So that's not an option. You can't fight them. That's not an option. So the only option is literally be overly respectful, overly polite, just to be a perfect citizen in every situation, to maximize the likelihood that you're gonna leave that situation unscathed, either physically or through the law or anything like that.
What do they call that? Code switching?
Absolutely.
Facts. We do it every day when we go to work, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Even
Go ahead,
even
though.
talking to like seniors and stuff, like grandma and grandpa, you switch it up. It's like everybody knows like not to curse around their grandma and grandpa. But for me, I got to see that in a very negative way. My Cuban side of my family is extremely religious, and they were very overprotective of the entire family. Mostly, my mom is one of two girls, and there's six boys. But they sheltered them. Well, mostly the women. The boys got to do pretty much what they wanted to a certain extent. It was religious, so all the boys, if they wanted to, they had to get married. So all of them had got married like when they were 18. And
Damn.
my mom, it was so bad that they would stop her from going to school. Like she doesn't have a high school diploma because they were worried about her talking to boys in school and all that. And it's just it gets to a point like you get to two extremes. Like you could be too relaxed and then you could be too sheltering and too like trying to preserve their innocence. I don't know what like their thing was about it. Um but it's not a good thing to shelter somebody too much and like to keep them on lockdown and like you're only gonna get negative repercussions from it. And what I see now is my entire family is very split, very like everybody's doing their own thing kinda, and nobody. When we were young, we used to get together and like have dinners, the whole family would be there, and that only happens in funerals now when somebody dies, as we'll all get together and it's the only time we see each other mostly now,
Yeah, shitty
which
as hell.
sucks, you know what I mean? But I got to see the more extreme side of that, and it doesn't work. Like you're never gonna get somebody to live exactly the way you want them to, you know? You can
Yeah.
only teach them as much as you can.
And just hope then to make the right decision from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my thing, because like obviously becoming a first time dad, like Pucho's giving me a lot of advice on certain things and other people too. And there's some people, like some of my other friends who are not of, like, some of my white friends and my black friends, they'll have different opinions or different advice. And it's always funny because like most of my white friends would tell me, they'll be like, "Oh, like yeah, bro, like growing up with me and my sister or whatever, like we're both able to just to go anywhere. We'll just tell them, hey, we're going here. We'll come back at this time." And it was okay. And I'm just like, that's fucking crazy. Like, because in my household, you had to like beg, you had to like plea, you had to like, oh, I'll make sure to be back at 10 o'clock and this and that. My mom was strict, bro. I couldn't even be in front of the house past 8 o'clock. And I'm like a junior in high school. I'm like, yo, like, are you serious? Like, I'm in front of the block, like literally in front of my house, hanging with my friends. And it's just like, come home, it's 9 o'clock. I'm like, yo, this is bugged out, to where when I got 18 and I got a job and I had a vehicle, I'll be like, yeah, I'm at work still, this and that, lying, because I'm probably chilling at Doughboy's house or I'm chilling somewhere else. Like, it's just like, yo, like the more, like I feel like the more you try to like protect or hold them back, they're gonna fucking lash out. They're gonna be like,
Oh,
nope, I'm gonna start sneaking out or I'm gonna start doing this. And it's just like, I know me growing up, I'm gonna make sure that I trust my kid. I give him the responsibilities and, instill him good shit. So that way he'd be like, yo, dad, can I go hang out with Fulano down the block, this and that? Like, yeah, sure. Just be careful and let me know if you go somewhere else. Just give me a call. Like, hey, I'm going to this guy's house to chill. It's just as simple as that. Like, if you give them that and give them the respect and privacy, I think they'll understand and they'll pick up. Because the more you try to tie them and hold them down, they're gonna burst out, my nigga. As soon as they turn 18, they're gonna be like, yo, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and that's what I don't want. I mean, I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like a balancing act, right? Like, I don't think that my child is my best friend approach necessarily is the best thing to go about. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's got to be some kind of separation.
Yeah.
But it's not the worst. I'd rather have an open dialogue with a kid than have them just feel like they have to hide everything and I don't know shit about their life.
I think it was Will Smith. Will Smith, I forgot who I watched online one day, and they were talking about coaching their kids, and they were like, "We are in a safe." Oh no, it's Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart told the kids, "Yo, we're in a safe zone. Anything you say, I can't get mad. I can't hit you. Nothing like that. This is a safe zone." And what he found out is that his kids open up a lot more to him. It was like it helps them, and that helps with kids' anxieties too. You know what I mean? Like it helps them. Like, okay, I can talk to them. I can say whatever I can say here, and I can't get in trouble. You know, and I think that's to a certain extent too. Like you're not gonna beast and throw a vase at your parents or some stupid. You know what I mean? But it's just like that to me. That to me is like it's helpful. Like because I mean I got anxieties now on certain things. I mean Pucho has it worse than me, but like, and that's all how you were raised and grown up. Like different things you pick up, and that's why when it comes to like even spanking your kids, like yeah, I'm gonna hit my kid if my son acts up crazy. I'm gonna give you a warning. That's nice, verbal and a stare down. Like, yo, calm the fuck down, because the next one, it's I'm smacking that ass. And some people will be like, "You gonna hit your kid?" Yeah. If he's bad, I'm gonna spank his ass. Yes. I'm not doing no timeout corner shit. Like I'm gonna tell you once, okay. The second time, I'm gonna look at you like, yo, you're bugging out. The third time, smack. Quick, pow, pow. You know what I mean? And to me, a lot of people look at me like I'm crazy. Like, yo, I was raised, and I was getting hit out the shower with extension cords. Wet back. Bow. Getting smacked in the back with extension cords, with fucking wooden spatulas. Bro, like, and I was a bad kid, too. So, you know what I mean? I'm not saying, like, I'm taking a shower, and my parents just walk in and just start beating me, right? I'm not saying that, but like back in the days then to now, God forbid you smack your kid on the ass in a public space. Niggas is liable to call the cops. Like it's crazy to me.
So I'm not a father. I have 12 nieces and nephews. I will say the oldest niece actually just turned 18 today.
Damn.
So I've seen a generation of kids raised. I've helped, been a pretty active uncle and all that. I will say I don't think spanking actually helps. I think spanking actually makes behavior patterns worse. I think the only time you should spank is when it's a life-threatening situation. Your kid's about to run out into the fucking road or something. I don't know. All the research says that spanking just it reinforces bad behavior. It doesn't actually teach them how to process things properly and discuss. Timeout is a pain in the ass. I will tell you that much. It is a huge pain in the ass because you're not just putting the kid in timeout, you're putting yourself in timeout at the same fucking time.
How's that? Oh, because you got to watch them to make sure they don't fucking.
You have to watch them if they're not taking to timeout. You're sitting your ass in timeout with them and holding them in timeout. Or, and I mean, the point of timeout is honestly, it's not even a punishment. Timeout is supposed to be for them to calm the fuck down and come to grips with their feelings. And as a parent, you typically your goal should be to try to understand what their feelings and help them understand their feelings. Because that's what it is. I mean, kids they have little tiny stupid kid brains. They don't understand what they're going through half the time.
Yeah, having it's like one of the biggest challenges I feel like, because even dealing with like small children, I'll know which children have their shit together, so to speak. You know what I mean? But every kid is gonna throw a tantrum. Every kid, they just don't have it yet. You know what I mean? To keep it all together. But helping them understand their emotions is super important. Like that's very important from a child raising aspect. Like you got to, and also teaching them about self-love from like a very young age is also very important. As small as these things seem, like they're extremely important.
What do you think, Pooch? Like, I know you're having a daughter. For me, if I was having a daughter, I don't think I would resort in spanking her. Maybe that's again the old way into my head, like how I was
telling
raised.
me you would spank your son, but you would not spank your daughter?
She has to go a little bit further than my son for me to spank her, because I honestly, and this is the thing that I'm trying to change in myself. Sorry, I'm trying to change in myself. Damn, my bad. I'm trying to change in myself because it's like, to me, spanking your daughter, she'll have I would feel like the same dramatic effect as spanking your son, but in the view of others, maybe your wife or whoever, they'll be like, yo, you just spanked your daughter. And that's the first one. And, you know, like...
Cat take over.
Cat take over. And I don't know, Pooch, you tell me, bro. Like, you're having a daughter. Like, I know you haven't spanked her yet, but you did do a firm talking. Like, that's another thing, too. But I'll bring it up after you say something.
Yeah, I mean... regardless of having a daughter or a son, I do not plan on hitting I don't plan on hitting my kids at all. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't plan on hitting them like Mateo said, unless there's some kind of like circumstance where it's appropriate. I think if you need to make a quick corrective action, like your kid has a knife in their hand and they could do something stupid, yeah, slap the knife, slap their hand so they drop the knife. Or if they're gonna burn themselves or something, anything where they're gonna end up harming themselves, like they're gonna walk out into the street, you yank them back in, like that might hurt them, like things like that. I think are totally fine because I think the consequences are far worse, right? But beyond that, I don't plan on I don't plan on hitting my kid.
Yeah, no one really plans on hitting it, but there is gonna be times like. Let me just give you an example. This is just...
I already feel it right now. My daughter's doing some dumb shit. She keeps yanking things, or I put something down here, and then she's grabbing this thing, and I put this, and then like, of course you have the urge to hit somebody to like correct them.
Yeah, that's not what I'm saying. That's stupid shit. I'm not gonna spank a kid. They just don't know better. I'm saying if a kid is acting up, like not Liana's age right now, like maybe 5 or. When they have some sense, like they know better how to talk to people. Like if they start disrespecting people vocally, like your mother, your father, you know, whoever, even you or Lisi, like at what point do you be like, yo, stop, you disrespect, and they keep going and they keep going. They're not listening. So are you going to tell me you're not going to spank them on the ass to tell them, like, no?
I would, you would need to figure out how to discipline them personally. Like, I think, like Mateo said, it's a very difficult road because it requires it requires you to it requires insane consistency. Like every single time they fuck up, you got to follow through, because every time you don't follow through, it's like a little chink in the armor. Now they know, like, all right, I just need to get to that point. Like that's a point I could get to. Like I don't know, it's super fucked up. I think what a lot of people don't realize is that like adults got a lot of shit going on. You know what I'm saying? I got to wake up in the morning. You got to change diapers, or you got to feed a kid, get them dressed, get them ready for whatever the fuck they got to do. Then you send them off. Then you got to get ready for work. You need to come correct. You need to work a job, make money, pay bills. You have to cook. You have to clean. Meanwhile, your kid. So then you only have like just a small piece of your life dedicated to raising your kid at this point. Like you got all this other shit going on. Meanwhile, your kid could channel 100% of their energy to fuck your day up. Like they have they got nothing else to do. They go to all they got to do is the ability to fuck your day up. Like they could channel 100% of their energy. So it's like once you start fucking up, it's over. Like they know that they're gonna, like, it'll be a long road to getting back to a place where they know that they can't do something because you're gonna follow through. And I mean, I think spanking works as a form of discipline, in the sense that, like, if you get whipped when you do something wrong, you might not do it again, like another form of punishment. But I think there's a lot of other negative things that come into play with that, which is like you reinforce that hitting is a good way to correct action. So now, like, your kid might want to, you know, get more physical with people. There's a lot of other things like it induces, like aggression, anxiety, like low self-worth. Like there's a lot of negative aspects mentally that you're inflicting on a child when you're hitting them. Maybe beyond just correcting the action that they did.
Maybe it depends on too, because like I said, I got hit a lot growing up, but like all those you just explained, I don't feel none of that. Like I don't feel like I have to resort to hitting anybody to like get a point across, or like only time I'm gonna hit you is like I'm literally defending myself because you're swinging at me. Like, and I think that's probably too, maybe like, I don't know. Like, I knew when I got spanked is because I fucked up. So like growing up, I knew like, okay, I know I'm gonna do something bad here, and I'm probably gonna get spanked, but I'm gonna do it anyways. And I can remember some of the shit as a kid, like, and I'd be like, damn. I look back, I'm like, yeah, I knew I was gonna get spanked, and I did get spanked. So it's just like one of those things where maybe it's like, I don't know, maybe my mind grabbed it differently, but I know I'm not really like swinging wise on people or trying to fight. I'm not that aggressive like that.
So like, I could give you the opposite, right? Where I grew up and I used to get spanked growing up. I want to punch people in the face all the time. All the time. I can't stand people. Right? So I think about this shit all the time.
All the time.
All the time. Somebody's doing something, I'm like, oh my God, I want to knock them the fuck out. So like, look at that, right? So like, these are just anecdotes though, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you need to look into studies, you got to look into data, and you got to look at what the experts of today are saying are the best ways to do things, and just make your own decision. I mean, it's your kid ultimately, right?
Yeah.
For me, if the people that I'm not a fucking expert on children or anything like that, like the only shit that I really know is playing video games and working, right? So those are the things that I'm good at, and those are the things that I know, right? Beyond, so I'm not gonna play myself and say like I'm some expert on raising kids, or like, like Mateo said, he's like, oh, I'm an uncle. I got 12 nieces, so that makes me an expert on like raising children. Like I couldn't say something like that. So for me, the best thing to do is to look at what the experts say and then try to incorporate, those things like into raising my kids. I mean, you're gonna go through this shit right now where like the doctors for when it comes to like taking care of an infant, there's a ton of different shit. There's a ton of shit the Hispanics did that are just fucking plain wrong based off of what the doctors say about what you need to do to raise an infant.
Like what? Can you give an example?
Yeah, they'll put a blanket in a baby's crib day one. That shit, they'll wrap it around the head, they'll suffocate and die. Hispanics are the worst when it comes to SIDS. Like, it's unfortunate, but a lot of the things like
do you think it's just ignorance? Like just they didn't know the information?
Absolutely. And then is that, and I think also like what you just said, right? Well, I was raised away and I'm okay. So I'm going to raise my kids that same way. My parents did it this way, so I'm going to do it the same way.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
That's it right there. Hispanic families are so big on tradition. And it's so much tribal knowledge. How do you raise your baby? Your abuela, she tells your mom how to raise that baby, and then she passed it down. It's the same shit, just gets passed down. It sounds like what you're asking about is how to break the pattern, because that's what it comes down to.
No, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And my parents take that. My mother takes that shit to an offense. Like, the way I raised you wasn't good. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the way you was raised, you brought that over to raising us. What I'm saying is that I am going to break that cycle, and it's not because like my wife is white or Irish. No, it's not. It has nothing to do with that. It's just that we both want to make sure our kid is better than us. You know what I mean? Like that's the goal. As a parent, I guess you finally realize what your parents thought of and wanted you to do, and all these big plans they had for you. So it's just like, that's all I want. I want my kid to not have to stress, to not have to worry about stupid shit. Just do what you love and be the best at it. That's it. That's all I want from my future child.
So then I recommend you read into the effects of spanking your children.
Oh yeah,
for sure. Because
what happened though?
There's a lot of, you said there's some good books on it. Yeah, there's a lot of information out there, and I mean, if you want to, that'll be probably the biggest deviation that you could do if you're trying to break a cycle between how we were raised and how you could raise your children. Is if you just remove like hitting from the equation, it forces you to do so many other different things that just raising your kids would be different overall.
Yeah, put that chancla away, dude.
Nah. No, and maybe I should just explain again. Like, I did not say everything they do I'm going to spank.
No, for sure. You just said that
the most craziest shit they do. You know what I'm saying?
Spanking, I think like in spanking, that's it. Like I think once you start taking objects and it reinforces a bad, I think spanking is like the worst
Have
thing
you been
you should
spanked,
do. Like,
Doughboy?
oh yeah, yeah, I got spanked a lot, and even
As an adult, though.
You dunk, Mateo. There we go.
Though he likes getting spanked.
I set that shit up perfectly. I was
it.
waiting.
Let me know.
But no, as a kid though, seriously, you got spanked and stuff,
yeah,
right?
and even the belt and stuff. I got a lot of various belts. You know what I mean? Some stronger than others. But what I noticed, and even with myself, is after a certain age, it does not work. This is not.
Yeah.
It's not a deterrent. Like I had to, and it's like a psychological thing because we were like, okay, she's gonna hit us. We have to act like it hurts so that she doesn't.
Yo, every kid did that.
Then
shit.
we would
Just
like
scream
fake
extra.
it.
Yeah.
So like I don't think like seriously after like probably 8 or 7, I wouldn't even do it after that. Like they have enough composition like in like within themselves that you can begin to explain to them like, hey, this you did this, so therefore cell phone, just take where it hurts. You just got to cut it where it hurts, and you got to stand firm in like those disciplines. Like you can't, if you say 5 days no cell phone, you got to make it 5 days no cell phone.
Yeah, but I think you gotta be very careful on the severity of your punishments. Like, because I find that like growing up, I had a friend that would not only get hit, but he would get punished a lot. Like me growing up, my mother almost never punished me. Like I would just get hit. And I personally, as a kid, I loved it because I'd be like, all right, I'm a big dude. I could fucking take a beating. So you're gonna whip my ass and I could go out and play basketball later? Like that's a fucking fair trade. Like I'll take that shit any day of the week.
Not knowing that he's later gonna be so aggressive that he just wants to punch people in the face for no reason.
What helped him when he was playing basketball?
Yeah. They used to call me Rodman, man, even though I'm a midget. But I used to get a lot of rebounds, push everybody, dive for the ball. I was a fucking madman. Yeah, I mean, like, I think, like, so one of my friends growing up, right, when they would get punished, they'll be like, their mom would be like, oh, you got a C in this class, whip the shit out of them, and then be like, all right, you're not playing PS2 for 4 months. And it's like, holy shit. Like, I'm like, boy, I know you fucked. Like, I don't know what we're gonna do now. You asked out. Like, and then, 2 weeks down the line, he's playing PS2 again. And I think what that serves to ultimately teach them is that, like, in life, maybe you're gonna get punished for things, but it's always gonna be less severe than you think, or people aren't gonna follow through, and any number of things. And his behavior never changed. He would just continue to be doing the same types of things that would get him in trouble. So I think removing things, I believe is an effective punishment, but I think it's also like I think you need to start really low and follow through a lot until you kind of up those numbers. Like, saying there's unrealistic things like you're not going to watch TV for 2 months, and it's like, well, fuck. So that means they can't watch TV. That means they can't play video games. So they got to do other shit for 2 months, and then you need to deal with that shit now. When they're bored in the house doing nothing for 2 months, you need to be there and be like, read a book. I don't want to read a book. And now they're going to buck your punishment all day long for that whole period of time. So I think you want to get to the point where if you keep following through, your kids just stop doing dumb shit and you don't have to punish them for a long period of time.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And I had a different upbringing than you, Tony. Like, my mom used to let us do whatever we wanted, bro. I didn't really deal with like my parents weren't very strict. Like, they were like, like if I was out and about 5 days in a row, I'd be like, yo, mom, I'm gonna go crash at so-and-so's house. And she'd be like, nah, come home. And that shit used to piss me off. It was the worst thing in the world that I couldn't do what I want. But the reality is, beyond those like moments, like I used to wake up on a Saturday morning. Every single weekend, we had to clean the house. boom, clean the house, rapid, like, you know, Windex and things, clean,
Just
you
so
know,
you
the
can
house got to
break
be
out.
pristine. As soon as I leave the house, it'll be like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. I'll probably come back in the afternoon to eat some food, go right back outside. I'm playing all day long, and I'm not pulling up to the crib till 10 o'clock at night. I'm calling my mom, like, yo, I'm going to crash at Flats. And then she'll be like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, so I had a very different experience, even from very young. I mean, like, I remember, like, 6, 7 years old, like, I used to, like, I'd be like, yo, mom, I want to go to the barbershop. And in New York City, we lived, like, around the corner from a barbershop. And I used to feel like, oh, my mom gave me so much independence, I'm going to walk to the barbershop alone. But really, she used to just watch me from the balcony. So she was watching me, but I felt like I had this independence to go do what I wanted. And I don't know. I feel like that was a positive for me growing up.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you want, right? Like you want to build at that confidence. I mean, shit, man, the amount of people I know that they still get nervous, like asking questions at like an information booth or something, or like,
Really?
no, I can't order from this restaurant. It makes me nervous talking to this fucking like this cashier and asking for food.
That's crazy. And we're talking about adults, right?
Yeah.
Full on adults, man. People get anxiety about shit like that.
That's
And
fucking
it's
wild.
and it, I mean, it's like the other side of that. It's the over sheltering of children. Like it robs them of social skills. It robs them of their ability to interact with other people in a professional manner.
Maybe that's my problem, Pooch, because like I ask people questions that everybody's thinking, and it comes out almost like an asshole, right? Most
I
of the
think
time.
you're projecting. I don't think a lot of people are thinking these things. I think you think they're
Example,
thinking it.
we were on a cruise,
Yeah.
and this is no example.
It's
We're
so
on a cruise,
cringe.
right? And we're in a jacuzzi tub, and there was a nice looking woman there. She was bald. She had no hair in her head, right? And then I know for a fucking fact, all of us, even the Randys that were in that jacuzzi tub, was thinking like, oh, why she shaved her head? So, mind you, a little bit of alcohol, but I don't blame it on the alcohol. I felt more relaxed to be like, hey, nice hair, nice way you did your hair. Is there any particular way, right?
That was not his question.
I asked her pretty much like,
he was like, hey, why you got your hair like that?
I don't think it was like that. I don't think it was
That's
like
a
that.
completely different
like,
question.
I started to die. I was like, no, I can't believe he did it.
See, but
I knew it. No, as soon as I saw her, what I thought was, oh shit, something is unique about her. Tony is gonna say some dumb shit. I looked at Tony's face and I could fucking see the calculation. What fucking question? And I was like, don't fucking do it. Don't. He did it, and it killed me.
No, but it opened up a whole conversation. Like, she was relaxed. She was like, she simply, I don't know, from my eyes, she's oh yeah, my friend had cancer, so I shaved my head to like help her out with it. And she was supposed to come on a cruise, but she didn't for some obvious reasons. And I'm just like, you see, like, maybe the way I said it probably was a little too, or you didn't even have to say it, right? You should just let shit go. But I don't know. I always felt like me saying it, like she even felt more relaxed afterwards. She was even down to chill out, like, and she kept talking to me, more engaging with me. So, like, in a way, if someone was hurt by it, maybe they will just stop talking. They'll get up and leave eventually. No, that didn't happen. So I don't know. Either way, I think it was still wrong to ask that question. Right?
He defended it the whole time. Now he's wrong.
I defended it, but deep down inside, I felt like, damn, maybe that was kind of wrong to ask. But
I think it's just rude.
In a
like,
way.
I don't know. I feel like in general, questions like that shouldn't be the end of the world. But again, we live in this imperfect world where people are very uncomfortable and very sensitive about a lot of different things, as they should be. I mean, some of these things are private. For some people, they can't, like, if God forbid, right? Let's say that she did have cancer and she lost her hair. It's like, it ain't her choice that she's now bald. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, some people get wigs and things like that, but then it's like, I don't know. It's a little unfortunate that, like, something you have no control over and you got to live this shit every day, and then somebody's going to just, like, throw it in your face. Like, maybe from their point of view, like, you weren't doing it with no ill will, you know?
No, yeah, and if she would have told me like, yeah, I beat cancer, I'd be like, oh, we're taking fucking shots. We're celebrating your life. Like,
what if she said, I'm dying of cancer?
and then we're celebrating your
shots.
final life. We're taking
I mean,
fucking shots.
that shit'll be
I'll
awkward.
make sure to flip it to where she's feeling like, okay, it's acceptable, and we're gonna party it up until the break of dawn, until your last breath is fucking.
You're gonna party with this lady till she dies.
If I was dying,
kill you before the cancer kills you. Okay?
you're gonna die happy drunk. Like, no, like if I was dying and someone asked me that question, I don't think I'll be offended. I would just tell them, and then I would like, as soon as you tell someone that you're dying, the room would shift. The room would definitely change. The vibe would change unless the person dying uplifts it. You know what I mean? They're like, but let's not worry about it. Let's take some fucking shot. Like, that's how I would do it. I would tell you, yo, I'm dying, my nigga, this and that, knock on wood. And I don't want y'all to be like, oh, man, we're losing Caballo, the best friend I ever had in my whole life, the inspiration of my life. And like, I know you guys would say stuff like that.
You don't have to worry. I'm not going to say that.
You know, I'll be like, yo, fuck that, nigga. We taking shots. Let's go. We're getting blacked out drunk, and we're going to Wendy's at 2 a.m. and ordering everything on the list. Like, we're doing stupid shit tonight. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's
we're on
how
the cruise. We're going to take a little boat. Gonna go to the mainland, go to the Wendy's, come back to the crew. How do you envision this playing out,
no,
Tony?
all right, so the Wendy's was more like me probably being at someone's house or like your house or something, but it had nothing to do with the cruise. It was just a different tangent in a tangent.
Dude,
but anyways,
I'm trying to.
Remember
What was it that happened? Oh my god!
what?
One day, my coworkers, one of my coworkers invited me to like go to a bar and have some drinks. Tony and
Oh my god!
maybe it was just Tony that was around this one.
Me
this
and
time.
Emily, I think.
And my friend, my coworker, he has a friend that's gonna be there, and I don't know what happened.
You make me sick.
He got into some accident or something, and he only has one leg now, right? And immediately I was like, all right. So I started pre-coaching Tony because I'm like, bro, don't bring up the guy's leg. I even told my coworker, yo, my friend is gonna be there. He might bring up your guy's leg, and even he was like, well, you know, he's pretty cool about it, so maybe ain't gonna be the biggest deal in the world.
You're a piece of shit for doing that. That's a whole new report.
It's a new report. I think I made the right call.
That's fucking. I'm tired of these.
And I was just like, yo, I hope Tony doesn't bring up this guy. I mean, the guy has one leg. He got to live this shit. And dude, even when I told Tony about it, I considered not telling Tony about it in hopes that like maybe Tony doesn't see, maybe the guy's not wearing shorts, and maybe Tony never notices, and maybe that's the best way out of this situation. But I'm like, you know, if it catches him off guard, I know it's gonna pop off. So I'm like, all right. So I start telling Tony, I'm like, yo, please don't mention this guy's leg. You know, these are my coworkers. I don't want to be embarrassed in front of these people. You know,
I'm embarrassing this nigga now. This
it
is
could be embarrassing.
I wasn't gonna bring up his leg. That's one thing I would not bring up. My mom has one leg. I'm not gonna bring that shit up.
I'm just saying.
Possible.
I'm just. I'm just saying. I was thinking about this shit, and you know, and then when we got to the restaurant, Tony's sitting next to me, and I'm just feeling these little nudges, like, which one is it? I'm like, dude, I don't fucking know. I don't think I've ever seen the guy either. So I'm like, I don't know who's the guy with one leg at the table, but I'm not looking for it, you know. And in Tony's mind, everybody was looking for it. Everybody wanted to know which one was the guy.
No, I never. So don't portray my mind through your fucking vision of what you think.
This is me projecting what I believe Tony to be thinking.
First off, I would have never noticed somebody there with no leg, with one leg missing, right? I would have never noticed because I wasn't looking at a dude's legs at a bar. I'm not. We're all sitting down. There's a table covering it. The moment this dick puts a one-legged patty in my head, now I'm looking for one-legged patty.
One-legged patty.
One-leg patty.
I'm looking for this patty now at this point, right? I'm looking.
This is like an ableist slur.
I don't know what this is.
I don't know.
I've never heard it.
It just came up right now in my head. I just said it.
Okay.
No offense to anybody out there. My mother has one leg. I'm not making fun of the disabled. I'm just saying, like, now I'm looking for this guy. Because in a way, I kind of want to ask him what happened. In a way, That's just me being curious, and curiosity kills the cat. And I'll be down to take 9 lives for a question sometimes. But Pucho's like, yo, these are my coworkers. Please don't be you. And you know what? I respect it. I said I won't be me. I'll be half of me. I won't ask a
code
question.
switch. I code switch at work. You got a code switch around my coworkers.
Yeah, which is understandable. Like I will act a certain way around certain people. That's understandable. Like with Pucho, Doughboy, and Everett, and Brian, and you, Mateo, I'm gonna say a little bit more shit. But because I know you guys understand that I'm not a racist, that I'm not a bigot or anything like that. I'm not sexist or nothing. But with new people, they're gonna paint a different picture. So I get what Pucho was trying to do, but just let me work it out on my own. That's all I'm saying. That's it. By the way, I don't know what place that was, Pucho, that bar, but they had some fire ass wings. Just throwing it out there. Their wings were pretty fucking good.
Yeah, we even showed up late. I'm a fucking dick. I don't know how I thought it was a different place. I drove. The guy's like, yo, we're going to I think it was called Beef O'Brady's. It's the place we went to.
Sounds like an Irish bar.
It's green, like the color scheme and the logo or something. So anything you put an O apostrophe, that shit is probably Irish. Yeah, I ended up going to this other place. We drove to another restaurant. I pulled up. I'm like, I don't see I called him. I'm like, bro, you sure you're here? He's like, I'm here. I'm like, they're doing like a trivia night. There ain't no football on TV right now. And he's like, where the fuck are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm at the ale house, right? And he's like, nah. I was like, what the fuck? And then we had to drive like 20 minutes. So we pulled
so
up.
mad.
I was so mad.
Pucho's just like me. They don't want to be late to an event. I hate that shit. My
Who did you want to punch in the face that time, Pucho?
Myself. I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like,
like, it's funny, bro, because he's the same way I want to be. Like, not I want to be, that I am. Because my parents are late to everything. I just hate that shit. And it's just like, I never want to be late to an event. Because that shit's bad. Like, there's people set times for shit. You know what I mean? Like, all right, 6 o'clock, everybody's coming. 6:30, we're eating because the food's going to be hot, piping fresh. And then after that, we're drinking and doing whatever activities is going on. So it's definitely one of those things, where you want to be on time for shit. Like, I hate that late shit. And also, you know what? I'm going to also throw another tangent. We was on vacation, right? And me, Doughboy, Pucho, like the whole squad was there. Every time we would go out, Doughboy and with his fucking Starbucks, bro. I don't know what it was. This man had a fucking Starbucks fucking fiend to himself. Like, he was fiended out.
5 days out of the week, I still drink Starbucks.
Did y'all see that? I knew that Tony was about to say some shit about Doty, but I couldn't figure out what period of time it was going to be that he was going to... I thought it was going to be about the podcast this morning, actually.
Nah, bro. It's just, like... But this is the thing I love about Doughboy, too. Like, Doughboy, we always pick on Doughboy, right? Like, we mess with him a lot more than ever because he gives us the reason to. But this is what I love about Doughboy, because there's no one else really like Doughboy. Doughboy is fucking unique in his own way. And like, yo, we have a Dunkin' Donuts that's 2 minutes away from the house. Nah, I like Starbucks. 50 minutes that way. Bitch, we got to go towards, like, and we make the sacrifices and we do it, and because we're all friends. But it's just like, what is your thought process of liking Starbucks more than Dunkin' Donuts? It's the same shit.
I worked overnight. It was from when I worked overnight. I drank a lot of Dunkin' Donuts, and their coffee for me is just very weak. If I don't drink a cold brew from Dunkin', that's the only type of coffee I'll get from Dunkin' Donuts. It's like a cold brew ice. I'm gonna be honest though, I've been drinking Starbucks regular coffee for so long, I've moved on to Starbucks cold brew. Because I like, this has that kick.
I just don't know how y'all like coffee, bro. Like, I think Pucho drinks black. You think, no, it's a dark coffee. What is it that you drink?
I mean, I just, lately, since the pandemic started, I started adding a little bit of sugar in my coffee. But at work, there was no sugar by the coffee machine. So I just got used to drinking coffee, just pure black, no nothing. And that shit was fine. Mm-hmm. At first, it was like, oh, man, this is like fucking just hot water. And then you realize, okay, It's because they had a Keurig machine, and then me and my coworker, we would take turns buying these big fucking boxes of like assorted flavors. And then you realize, oh shit, like all these different coffees, they kind of have like little like distinct flavors. They taste different, and it's pretty cool. And adding all the sugar, it makes for probably like a tastier drink. But I don't know.
Is coffee bad for you?
Yeah, it's not good if you do drink too much of it. Yeah, everything is bad.
It's like a stimulant. It like wakes you up. It has like.
I think it's because of the caffeine or the sugar that's in it, right? Yeah, like
caffeine and sugar. Yeah,
I think it's the caffeine, even just the coffee itself. Like I was reading about, like coffee could give you like high cholesterol, like something that like if you don't use, like if you don't filter your coffee, there's some minerals in there or something that could like it'll make it easier for you to get high cholesterol. Like the coffee itself isn't doing it, but it makes you like more susceptible. Like, so depending on what your diet's like, just by adding unfiltered coffee, you could end up with high cholesterol or not.
That's fucking beast.
And I think you got to drink a lot of this shit too. Like, dude, my fucking roommate in college, oh my God. She drank an endless amount. Like it probably seemed like a gallon of coffee a day. It's like what it looked like to me. It was fucking insane. Like I'm talking these towering cups, the biggest cup you've ever seen in your life, filled with like coffee and creamer and shit. Like just those crazy like the French vanilla, like all the crazy shit with all this crazy different creamers and sugar and big ass cups of coffee, dude, on deck, repeat. She'd be studying for all types of exams, and it'll be coffee.
Did she have like a lot of headaches? Because I when you get too much caffeine for me, like I'll get a headache very quickly, and I'll get like the shakes.
That's crazy.
Like, it's true. If you're getting it's caffeine overdose. Yeah, I would drink too many in one overnight. I drink 2 30-ounce coffees, and yeah, that's what happens. You start to get shakes.
That's
get a
fucking
headache.
wild, dude. As a kid growing up, I used to drink a lot of soda, and my mom like stopped me from drinking soda. Yo, I started having shakes. Legit fucking withdrawals, bro. Yeah, no, real shit. I had withdrawals from soda to the point to where I was just like, just give me a soda. I'm like, damn, is this how a crackhead feels? Like somebody that's on drugs that can't control it because they're
sugar is a drug as well.
Probably like, a lot worse.
Probably 100%. But I'm just saying, like, from that point on, like, I just didn't really drink. I don't even drink soda like that to this day. Like, the worst thing I drink today is alcohol, whiskey, Henny. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the worst shit I drink. Other than that, I'm drinking water for the most part. But I don't know.
Yeah, I started drinking seltzer water like 3 years ago, and I never looked back.
It's just fucking disgusting. You drink that shit too, Mateo?
It is. It's a cheat code.
Topo Chico, man. That's one of the best beverages in the world.
Yeah, fuck out of here.
It's like soda, but except none of the calories and none of the sugar.
It's just dick water. That's just disgusting. Seltzer water. It's like people.
It's an acquired taste.
Acquired. People make fun of me for drinking sweet tea when I was drinking sweet tea. The fucking sweet tea. That shit's a fantastic beverage.
Sweet tea is amazing.
Yeah.
Unsweetened tea.
People like Pooch like, you drink dirty water. Fuck out of here, nigga. That's good sweet. Like who doesn't drink sweet tea, my nigga? Like sweet tea is great. Right.
I'm maybe growing up in the ghetto, right? We were some powdered drink bandits. Fucking Tang, Kool-Aid, fucking what we call iced tea. Different than what Tony calls sweet tea. Iced tea is the shit. I love this shit.
Mad powder, lemons,
a little vanilla in there. Little sugar on top of the powdered sugar that's already in the drink. And dude, I don't drink juice anymore because that shit. I don't know. I don't need the fucking extra calories. I just drink. I eat food, drink water, and drink whiskey. That's my diet nowadays. But dude, I don't even know, but this would happen to me multiple times throughout my childhood, where I would go somewhere and someone would be like, "Hey, like sweet tea would be an option as a beverage," and I'd be like, "Hell yeah, they got iced tea on deck." And you get that shit and you drink it, you're like, it's a gag. No amount of sugar could make that shit sweet. They got no business calling that shit sweet.
Yo, get the fuck out of here, yo.
I boycott that shit, and I might boycott you for loving it, Tony. Dude, I remember when McDonald's started serving that sweet tea,
that giant
fucking cup for $1. Yo, banging. I remember I was like, oh shit, McDonald's got iced tea. The same shit happened to me. Every time I go to like any Southern kind of breakfast place, they love them some sweet tea. The shit is disgusting. I can't deal with it.
Yo.
Fucking Tony was in love with the McDonald's sweet tea.
Love it.
It was hard. It was hard to find this guy without that big cup around.
That styrofoam.
That styrofoam $1 big guy. That shit was disgusting.
Bro, that shit not only was fantastic, but it was $1. Like, that's why a lot of people go to McDonald's, because of the price. That's the only reason why. Like
my $1 tea was the big $1 Arizona iced tea. All right.
My bad.
Shit is not sweet.
Which was your favorite? The green tea?
I mean, I wasn't super into it, but like I would just get the regular. I never really drank them that much, but that would be my $1 tea if I had to pick one.
By the way, Tang was also banging.
Oh my god!
I remember.
Tang, it's the fucking the juices of the gods, yo. I fucking love Tang. Yo, Dominicans love Tang, bro. Like that shit is on deck when you're in DR, bro. There's Tang everywhere? All the time.
Does it still have the orangutan on it? I remember the Tang with the commercial with the orangutan. It had a fucking orangutan on it, and I was just like, that shit to me was fire. There was a fucking monkey hanging from the fucking O of orangutan, or I don't know what the fuck it was. He was hanging from something. And thinking he was mad happy, and that's all I picture when you drink Tang is seeing that little monkey's face, and happiness came on my face when I drink in that fucking cup. But yeah, I don't know.
There's some nasty fucking juices, bro.
Like what?
Yo, yeah, I remember that pink. It was like a gallon of like Tampico, that fucking pink Tampico. That shit looks like Pepto-Bismol.
Nah, fuck that pink one. The orange one was fire. Fire.
That shit tastes like Sunny Delight, bro.
Sunny Delight's good too, though.
Sunny Delight when I was a kid.
Sunny Delight's good too, though.
That shit hurts my throat. Yeah, that shit is nasty.
I can feel it in my throat right now.
It's like you're drinking a powder. Like you can feel the powder in Sunny Delight when you're drinking it.
It's not like you guys are fucking get the fuck out of here, man. Stop shit.
Goodbye, Sunny Delight. I can't drink that shit.
You know what was bad as well? When I used to work at Publix, you remember I used to get the big gallons of Hawaiian Punch, like the green and the blue. Them just was so terrible. Red is the only redeeming factor in Hawaiian Punch.
The green one was the fire one out of all of them.
What the fuck is the green flavor?
They have a bunch of different flavors.
Tropical. I think it was tropical punch. But it was green. It was fire. That was the best. That was the best one out of all those shitty ones.
Doughboy used to cop 2 times. Doughboy used to cop this blue Hawaiian Punch and then like a pink one. The pink one I thought was okay, but I don't know, man. I can't. Every now and again, I'll have like a cup of juice, and that shit is just too sweet. I can't drink that shit.
You're done with that shit. Yeah, it's over with for sweet.
Dude, growing up though, oh my god, like we were some fucking juice killers, bro. Yo, I felt bad, yo. My mom's used to buy so much juice. Like, imagine that lady just wants to. She works the whole day. She's tired. She comes home. She cooks. She cleans. She wants a fucking glass of juice. And us 3 fucking dicks drank it all. Like,
I can only imagine what your mom was saying.
Leaving that splash of berry punch at the bottom.
Oh, you do that too?
Everybody fucking does that shit.
I do that shit all the time to my wife. She fucking hates me. She hates me. She's like, why do you leave that shit? I'm like, just in case one of y'all might want a little sip of it. I don't know.
A little taste.
Like, there'll be a whole bag of Oreos, and I'll leave like 1 or 2 left. I'm like, just in case one of y'all.
It's leaving that 1 ounce in the bottom of the fucking milk jug.
Yeah, just like you're being nice in a way. But yeah, I can only imagine what your mother was saying, Pucho. Este maldito niño tomando todo. I can only imagine, bro. Your mom's the funniest. When she's getting at y'all, she's the funniest she could ever be. Like, yeah,
hey, Pucho,
the greatest. That's funny.
To bring it back to 5 segues ago, what self-defense are you going to teach your daughter? What is she going to do?
I mean, Go ahead.
I'm assuming that you've got some kind of self-defense in mind. I think if I had a daughter, I would want her to take some kind of self-defense class.
He's already fucked up, by the way. Just throwing it out there. You already fucked up one key thing on training your daughter. Take her to swim classes, my nigga. You have a fucking pool.
Yeah, so usually you have to wait till they're like a few months, right? Before
Nah,
like day one, you throw a fucking child in a pool.
No, day one. Come on, Pucho. There's literally classes for like.
Sorry, how old?
I think when they first turn 1. I think the limit is when you turn
So
1 year old. I'm gonna Google it. 1 year old.
Like I said, you could go even younger. Like Shane's kid is fucking brand new. He's already swimming. So I'm saying you have to wait a few months. So you're saying a year. You're going even farther than I am. So this is my circumstance, right?
Yeah.
But I like around the time when I was considering doing this, it's already turning like too cold. Like it's the fall. Like even though here in Florida, fall time, you go swimming anytime, the water's just a little too cold. So
by the way, it's literally 6 months. By the way, 6 months. That's when you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, sure. So it was already turning a little too cold, and then after that, the pandemic hit. I'm not having nobody in my house, so it's just there's some circumstances, but it's totally been my plan from day one. We live in Florida. We got to get, like, there's fucking bodies of water all over the place. We got a pool in our backyard. Half these people around here got pools in their backyard. Like, yeah, you want your kid to know how to swim because, you know, they got to go swimming at times and you don't want them to drown and shit.
Do you think you can adequately train your daughter to swim without getting professional help? Because how did you know how to swim?
At this age right now, nah. I mean, my dad, we growing up like in Dominican Republic and shit like that, we would go to rivers all the time. So we just grew up around water, and my dad would put us in boats and just throw us off to like force us to like not to drown us. You know, he would be there, but like, you know, he'd take us out into the river and be like, swim.
That's
like,
how I learned.
Survive, motherfucker.
They literally pushed me in a pool, and I had to paddle.
I don't think that's the best way, though. I think there's more effective.
No, there's better ways, but that's how I was taught.
Like, is that how you can tell that all 4 of us got the just being pushed into the pool experience?
No, but you know how to swim?
My man, I was a part of the Lake Worth Guppies, okay? Over at Lake Worth Beach. Lake Worth Beach, the pool that they have there, they had like swimming lessons.
I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah, it was like one of the first things my mom took me to, like when we were over there. And taught me how to swim and stuff. It took me a while to get out of the guppy group, okay? I was there for a little bit. But
what's a little bit? What's the normal range?
When my brother moved on to the next class, like the more intermediate, I was like, I'm a guppy, nigga, all right? I'm gonna stay in this guppy class.
I never knew that about you. That's awesome to hear. So
Lake Worth Guppy.
The Lake Worth Guppy. I've never heard of this shit. That's crazy.
I used to, when I first moved to Florida, we used to go to the Lake Worth pool a lot. Across the street from the beach, and I've heard of the guppies. Like I might have seen Doey at the pool before I knew him. You know, he's fucking guppying his ass off over there in the corner.
But yeah, so back to we went off another fucking tangent. Back to the self-defense for your daughter. Like, what are you teaching?
About the swimming, I want to say one more thing. My dad used to call me a fish when I was a kid. He said he never saw such a swimmer as a young age. That he used to throw me off, and I used to hit mad cuts swimming underwater for hours. He said I had gills apparently, and then I met my brother-in-law, bro, and this motherfucker's a fish. Yo.
To the fish.
He
toast to the fish.
When he goes under the fucking water, it's like a sea creature, bro. He's fast. I don't even know what he's doing. He just be zooming around the water fast as fuck. Forever. He'll just go under the water and do laps and shit and then come back up. I'm like, this motherfucker got gills and shit.
Who was racing him that last time I went out to Florida?
That was racing him. I think I was racing him.
Everybody tries to race him.
He can't do it. He can't beat this guy.
No, I think I beat him. Didn't I beat him? No,
Don't fucking play yourself.
You thought you
you know
beat
what?
him.
Next time I go to your house, the fish got to come over and we're settling this debate because
He
I think I
probably
am a
lapped
great
you,
swimmer.
and you made it there before he lapped you. So maybe you felt like you beat him.
Wow.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Motherfucker's fat.
That man, Cisco, is the fish. This man hated that name, by the way, too. I'm not even gonna lie.
I'm not calling him the fish, but I'm just saying
He's the fish.
my dad used to call me a fish, and other people have outfished me. That's all I'm saying. So, anyways, to the
Self-defense.
yeah. So I grew up boxing. I'm gonna teach my kid how to box. I in the beginning of the pandemic, I was gonna set up kind of like my garage to kind of have like some boxing equipment and stuff. I ended up not doing it for a ton of different reasons of not wanting to spend money on shit without seeing it and all this bullshit. I eventually plan on still doing something like that, and I'm definitely gonna show her how to box for sure. Just because, I mean, everything I've read and seen, it seems like putting your kids in some type of sports and learning some type of self defense is just good things overall. Both from like forcing them to learn something, the experience of being shit at something and then becoming good by working hard, kind of instills like good discipline and you know, it's just good like experiences that you could like use in other life experiences and stuff.
That's
and,
a fact. I like that.
And then of course it's always nice to just be able to be like, all right, given the circumstance, I can fuck this guy up. You know, that's a good feeling. Like not because I want to be a bad person, but I don't know. I grew up in not the best places, and I don't know. I walk into places, and when I walk in, I look around the room, I look who's there, and I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts in terms of like, oh, this guy might look sketchy, and so you know, I don't know. I don't know. It's an anxiety thing. I'm constantly thinking about
You're
threats
alert.
all the time.
You're just alert. I don't think.
Well,
Go
I
ahead.
don't think it's just alert. That shit is not
So-
normal.
So here I've actually looked into this recently because I am a pretty observant person. Hypervigilance is it's a product of trauma. It's that thinking that some shit's always going to happen that's going to go wrong, and it's you are trying to keep yourself alert. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? But it is absolutely like a it's a product of trauma. Like it's from some bad shit happening in your life.
It's like paranoia. It's like close to that. I feel like because
I'd rather be paranoid and be alert at all times, like, than be fucking. Oh, I'm just gonna go about my day and not notice that this dude's over here doing something weird. I don't know. That's just me.
I haven't gotten into a fight for I don't know the better half of my life at this point since I was a teenager. So like while I don't disagree that in my brain, right, I wish I'm alert because I don't want anybody to like catch me slipping or you know do some bullshit to me. The reality is these things just don't happen that often. So is it worth like the last, and I got into a fight when I was like 16, 17 years old. Since then, like I haven't like fought nobody. It's like, has it been worth the last 14 years of just thinking about this everywhere I go? Like, is it worth it? Like, I don't know. Like
Probably not. That's also anxieties too. Like you're just gonna always be on alert and do like, yeah. I mean, I guess I see that, but my thing is like when we're at a bar, when we was at Down the Hatch when we went to New York that one time, we was alert. We was about to duff some dude for stupid mistakes that were happening. Right? We was just alert. We read the room. You know what I mean? Like especially you, Pooch. You was already reading like this is
I got
becoming
blackout
something.
drunk.
Yeah, Doughboy got blacked out drunk. Some stupid shit happened. But
$20 for unlimited wings and what 3-4 pitchers of beer, something
4
stupid.
pitchers of beers and all you can eat wings and fries for $20 midday.
$27 midday. That shit was fantastic.
There's not a deal like that anywhere else in New York.
Fucking fire, bro. By the time it was 6 o'clock and I was drunk and I made friends with some rich white people. No disrespect. They wanted to go on a boat the next day. I was like, I'm down for a boat. Pucha was not down. He hates all boats and all waters. I'm like, yo, these kids got bread. Like, I'm going to live a little bit off these niggas. I'm going to go drink their champagne and just live it up. But whatever. We didn't end up doing that. We're just still went back to the crib and got drunk.
I can't believe that Doey's cousin, though, he was just so tired that night.
Yo, Doughboy's a bitch for that. Yo, the man's
I
passing out.
can't listen. Once my brain turns off and like I'm functioning on like literally motor skills, you can't take anything I say into like actual. You got to take everything with a grain of salt. I might be planning something.
Yeah. I forgot about that like when you said, "Oh, I can't believe Doughboy's cousin was so tired." I was like, "Oh, okay." Mateo's trying to say like, like we're gonna talk about Doe, but call him Doe's cousin to like not put it on Doe." And then I'm like, "Oh shit, Doe did come to us and tell us, yo, my cousin is so tired, we gotta go. He's tired."
And then I'm like, right there in front of him, right, Pooch?
Doe walked right here. He's telling me, he's like, "Yo, Georgie's so fucking tired, bro. Like, man, we just gotta go back home." And I was looking at Georgie. Georgie was like, "Yo, you tired, bro?" He's like, "Nah, I don't know what the fuck you talking about."
Then this man though left us. This motherfucker abandoned us, and then got all the way on the train to the last stop past his house like a dick because he fell asleep.
I woke up at the last stop, and the guy who was sweeping the train and smacked me with his broom and said, "Hey, wake up!" And I looked around, and luckily the last stop in that direction was close to my house. If I would have went back the other direction, it would have taken me to Coney Island.
Damn,
that would have been terrible.
We would have been at your house knocking on the door. Well, I mean, we did
get to his house and knock. It's funny that happened to us twice. In Texas and in New York. Dewey left early, and then we had to go back to the house, and we didn't have any keys, and we were banging on the door, blowing up his phone, trying to get him.
We watched this man in Texas. We blow up his phone. He looks at the phone and turns it over. We're like, this piece of shit. We're watching you.
Yeah, because he had them giant fucking windows. We're looking at him, and we're banging, bam, 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 wake the fuck up. And we're hearing the fucking phone ring. He looks at it, and then he goes, and we're fucking banging on. It shit was like you were in some fucking dimension where there was no sound because we're like rocking this window. I was afraid that the guy who gave us the Airbnb, because he lived next door, like he was gonna pop out and be like, "Yo, what the fuck is going on here?" Like,
yeah, man. Like, bro, I'm not gonna lie. This shit, COVID needs to end, bro. We need to chill again because, like, those are good memories. Like, that whole New York trip was a last-minute ordeal. Pucho came up with the idea, like, yo, we should just go to New York. It was like a Wednesday or some shit. We should go to New York.
I booked my tickets wrong. I was supposed to be there for like 3 fucking days, and I was like, oh, fuck, I booked it for 2 weeks.
That's fucking
bullshit. I feel like the whole trip was, Mateo went to New York, I think completely separate from us.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a plan. And I think when Mateo booked the ticket for 2 weeks, I was like, yo, let's just go to New York and meet these guys up. And like, that's how the trip kind of came up.
Yeah.
Just because Mateo fucked the ticket up.
Yeah. I think you told me on a Tuesday or something. He was like, yo, we should just go up there this week or whatever. And I'm just like, all right, yeah. And then the next day, I looked at the ticket prices and shit. I called Pucho. I was like, yo, we're fucking going. And Pucho was like, yeah, I'm booking right now. And then, what was it, Thursday night or Friday? We was out early morning, though. No, was it early morning? Or was
No. We got there late.
Yeah.
Went straight,
Doughboy's Pop picked us up from the airport. By the time we got to the house, shout out to X-Driver. Yep. By the time we got to the house, it was like midnight, and Mateo, Zeus, and Doey were chilling, and we were like, we were fucking beat. Like, I worked all day.
Me too.
Then I think you drove to Orlando.
Yeah, I drove to your house.
You drove to my crib so that we could fly out together.
I just remember that. Worked all day, went home,
drove
took a shower,
2.5 hours.
Straight to Pucho's house. Then from Pucho's house, no rest. Went in the car. Lisi dropped us off. Got on the flight. Got there at like 11 o'clock at night. And what did we do? We didn't go to sleep.
At first, we were like, I remember at first we were like, yo, we're fucking tired. And the house was so boring where like Jesus was playing the fucking GTA 5 and everybody was just chilling. I was like, all right, I mean, I am tired. I guess we'll just call it a night. Nope. And we were just chilling there for like a little bit. And then I think Tony's like, man, fuck that. We just got to New York. Let's do something.
And we went to that bar. We fucking Sweet Caroline that fucking
Oh my
bar.
god,
That
lost my
shit
voice.
was epic.
Yo, that was so much fun. Yeah, we went to Bronx Ale House.
We
Yeah.
packed like 6 dudes in a fucking little
Oh.
2-door car. Like,
That poor
Remember,
Dominican was
I laid on top of you guys to get over here.
Yo, that poor Dominican guy was like, "Fuck it, if you can fit, we'll go." Like,
well, we try to give him no choice.
yeah,
We was like, he pulled up on us, and we're like, get in the car, get in the fucking car. He was like, oh, when he saw the door fucking laid down, and we're like, drive, it's around the corner. We'll give you a tip. Come on, man.
that first. You know what's crazy too? I love that shit because I don't think we can ever do that again. Now that you have a kid and I'm having a kid, maybe I don't know, but we didn't really sleep much that weekend because it was a weekend getaway. Like after the Bronx Ale House, we came home at like 4 or 5 in the morning. Then woke up at 7 and did the Saturday fucking down the hatch.
Yeah. You don't remember because we got back to Doe's crib and we got up there. We had like Jameson in the cribs and we were having some drinks still. And then we're like, yo, we're fucking hungry. So we left to go get chimis.
Oh, that's the first time I had chimis from New York. That's right.
You don't remember that it was like 6 in the morning. The sun was coming up. I was sitting there eating a chimi, and I was like, I said no tomatoes. I was like, and I was falling asleep, and I was like, it's the tomatoes. It's like, no, motherfucker, you've been awake for 24 hours. That's why you're falling. It has nothing to do with the tomatoes.
I was asleep with the chili in his hands.
I want to say that I took it out of his hands and ate that shit. I'm not gonna lie. I think I ate your chimi. You ate it? Because you didn't like tomatoes, and I love tomatoes. I could have sworn I ate someone else's tomatoes. I ate somebody else's.
I fell asleep with the chimney in my hand, and Mateo was still awake. He was looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I was like, it's the tomatoes. It's the tomatoes. Yo, my whole life, I'd be falling asleep, and I'd be mad defensive about that. I wasn't fucking sleeping.
That boy
I wasn't fucking
instant. Like, it's crazy how he... Emily says I do it too, but I don't do it like Pucho. This man you can be talking to him. Next thing you know, I'm like, damn, this nigga just passes out and he be like, yo, shots? He'll wake up. Shots, bitch. Shots. I'll be like, damn, this man's on point.
Yo, I've fallen asleep for hours. Like while hanging out, and I'll sleep for like an hour and a half, and something will wake me up. And then we'll just party. I'll wake up for the night and I'll be up for like another 3 hours chilling. Like, I don't know. That shit is weird.
That shit's awesome. It's like you get like a second chance to just continue to party after you slept like a little bitch.
Yeah, I've fallen asleep too much in my life. Like, I'm chilling with Everett, man. This motherfucker don't sleep. Like, he could just be up all night long, dude. Ever since we were fucking kids. And like, we would like, I'll sleep over at his crib and shit. And we'd watch TV, watch boxing, play video games, eat food. Eventually, I would fall asleep, no matter what. Like it was rare that I would like see Everett go to sleep, and then like it was always me falling asleep. And I always had like a FOMO where I was like, man, I fucking missed out. All the awesome shit happened after I fell asleep. Like,
yeah, it's the worst feeling, knowing that you missed out on something epic. You all right?
My daughter just fell.
Oh. Oh yeah, so back to self-defense on the kids. Like me as a gun owner, there's rules now. Like all my guns is locked up with a safety lock and all that, and no ammunition in the thing besides my carry. The carry is usually in my car or in my drawer most of the time. So to me, at a certain age that I deem appropriate, that my kid is like can comprehend what's going on, I would teach my son the proper use of handling a gun and know that this is not a toy. This is like, you know what I mean? Because if you are a gun owner, you have to do that with your kids. I feel like you have to. It's not like a question of if or what, because kids are curious, bro. One day you're gonna be lazy or stupid and just leave the gun on somewhere like they can get to. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of stories where kids grab a gun, kill themselves, like in this. It's just a
like
lack of training.
Their brother or sister. And
yeah,
stuff like
man,
that.
and that's a fear that I kind of have. But it's just like I think with proper training and stuff, like once they're at a good age, I'll train my kid and be like, yo, this is not a toy. This is how you use it. This is how you unload it. This is how, and take them to the gun range and teach them. And I also want to teach my kid how to hunt, how to also pooch. Like, I know you're going to teach your daughter, like, how to change tires and shit, or like certain stuff mechanically wise, because yo, like a lot of there's I've seen some dudes that don't know how to change a fucking tire. That shit be bugged out to me. I'm like, yo, how do you not know how to change a tire? But I mean, there was a time where I didn't know how to change one.
Hey,
just to do a little callback there. So you feel like dudes should know how to change tires, but maybe not like.
No, I think both. I think women should do it more than men, but both are the same, because it's like, what happened, Mateo? You gonna say something?
Yeah, to that point too, man. There's lots of dudes that don't know how to do laundry or cook or do like the household shit to take care of themselves.
It's a fact.
You got to make sure you're teaching that shit to your son too, and that's a Hispanic household thing. It's like no, mijo, you don't do laundry. Your sister does laundry and she does the dishes.
Yeah, right.
You mow the lawn and shit like that, right?
Not in my household.
You do the boy chores.
My mother, when we were young, Doey knew how to fucking cook rice, beans, meat. I was like, damn, this motherfucker cooking all types of shit. I was like, this is lit. Like, I'm chilling here, we eating food, you know. So I mean, there's different upbringings, man. My dad, I'm fortunate enough that my mom taught me how to cook stuff. So like from a young age, I'd make a bunch of sandwiches, eggs, like like, you know, super basic shit, but simple enough that I'm like, leave to college and like I could survive. You know what I'm saying? And my dad, like, it's really unfortunate because my dad knows a lot of shit about like. Just he's like a handyman, right? And I did not take advantage. Like I could have learned so much shit from my pops, and like I know so like just the basic shit that I'm like, man, I fucking missed out on all those fucking weekends where he's like, yo, help me do this, and I'm like, nah, I want to go and play. Like, like fuck that. Like I missed out on learning. Like my dad built like a whole fucking expansion to the crib. Like he added like another living room, a bathroom, closets, a bedroom, and like I helped him with like a lot of it, but it was like halfway helping. Like I felt like I could have learned so much shit then. Like now I own a house and I got all these things I want to do, and I'm like, I'm just gonna fake it till I make it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I could have like taken advantage and learned a lot from him. You know?
That's why I'm so grateful for my dad. Like even though my dad always like, oh, go cut the grass. I hate to cut it. I hated anything with landscaping. I fucking hated that shit, bro. But there's some things that I picked up, like my dad's creativity of building shit. Like this man built a fucking grill, a smoker, out of fucking old fucking propane tanks and shit like that, or like barrels, like, and like things like that I got from my dad, like his creativity and just learning how to build stuff from nothing. Like I built a fucking. In this backyard of this house that I'm living in now, like I built a fucking like a patio thing to where I can add like a roof to it and shit and things like that. Like that's stuff that I got from my dad that I'm really grateful for, that I'm going to teach my kid. Even fishing, you know what fishing does to you besides catching fish? Patience.
Yeah,
patience, bro. It's Mr. Miyagi shit. You know what I mean? Like that shit to me is like crazy because you need a lot of patience in this world, bro. A lot, especially now you're having a kid, like that kind of like, and even Tetris. Whoever played Tetris here knows how to fucking properly pack things and how to fit shit properly. Like Pucho put me on game on when you're packing to go away or something, roll your underwears like a burrito. You'll have more ample space. I'm like, there's just some clutch shit in my life that I wouldn't pass on to my kids because of my friends. Like,
it's some broke shit where you want to like you want to just pack a fucking month's worth of clothes into a carry-on.
Yeah,
you're like I need to employ all the tactics, like,
and it works.
Yeah,
but yeah, we went on super tangent on what the thing, but good talks though. Have you guys played any recent video games this week? What's everybody playing this week, video game wise? Like I just bought Hitman 3 on PS5 and that shit's pretty good. Like I would recommend y'all to get it and play it.
That new Hitman, like the Hitman reboot games, they've been so solid. They're really solid games.
This is the last one too. This is the final chapter.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, this on YouTube. I watched a couple of reviews, and listen, this is the final chapter, whatever, you know. But Hitman's problem is too that it gets really flat at some point in the game,
repetitive.
you know. But I mean, I still enjoy it. I like sneaking around and knocking people out and taking their clothes and finding ways to kill people. That's the whole point of that game. Finding the best way to kill somebody efficiently and creatively. Like I'm gonna, instead of just shooting you, I'm going to poison this food that later on will get to you, and then you're gonna eat it, and then I'll be gone by the time you die. Like that shit to me is pretty cool.
I keep having this video pop up as recommended on YouTube of this dude using the rubber ducky to kill like every NPC on a single map somehow.
What?
Haven't bothered watching it yet, but yeah, somehow the dude gathers everyone in one spot and tries to kill everyone on the map with one fucking rubber ducky.
That's fucking wild.
Which Hitman is this?
I don't know if it's 2 or 3. It's either 2 or 3.
I used to like Hitman. I don't know. Those games always felt like a little too much of like trial and error. And I mean, I like platformers are some of my favorite games. So there is a lot of trial and error, but it's like the trial is too long. So it's like you play for 40 minutes one level and then you lose, and then it's like, all right, now I'm gonna try this other slightly different thing. And it's like, you know, it could take you hours before you like perfect the level. Like even like you said, like just figuring out that the food gets to that guy might take you playing that level a few times before you figure that out. Like
yeah.
So it was just always like a little bit too long for me.
That's the aspect I like though. It's almost like that movie Final Destination, where it's like the big chain of events happens and someone dies. I like that. I remember there was one in I think the first Hitman with something with a jet plane. Like you would sabotage the jet plane, and then this man would come by to inspect it or something, and get sucked up into the engine.
Yeah, you're right. I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that shit. Any other games y'all playing, Mateo? Any games you've seen that?
Man, so I picked up Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I've made it through the first chapter so far.
Nice.
How you like it?
It's solid. It's solid. It's the camera's taking some getting used to. I don't know what it is about the camera, but it feels like a little too tight on
it's a little close.
Yeah. But I mean, it's solid. I don't know how else you would possibly remake that game in this day and age. I don't think that you can do the old JRPG system anymore of now you wait and then you choose what your attacks are and you choose attack or your ability and fucking done, right?
Persona 5, man. It's the best game in the world. All right, I'll let
I don't know. As a person that played both Persona 5 and Final Fantasy VII Remake, it's probably not a fair comparison because Final Fantasy is like one of my favorite series, but I prefer the way that the Final Fantasy VII did the combat. Especially, you're gonna see later on. Like right now, as you're playing through the game, it's very like action focused or very action oriented, and you probably even noticed fighting the first boss, but as you go on, you're gonna have to like pause more often and kind of think about like what do you want to combo into what, and then there's a lot of switching characters. So like switch to this guy, do this thing, switch to this other character. So it becomes like a little less actiony later on, and it in my opinion is somewhat of like a perfect blend of like just like pure action and like being able to like pause the game in a sense to like make some like tactical kind of like FTL, right? Like if you're not pausing in that game, you're losing. Like you ain't doing it right. Like,
one of the best games ever made.
Yeah.
Fucking FTL, dude. I've probably got like 400 hours in that fucking game.
I love that game so much.
We gotta
I've got that somewhere.
We need to make edit that video or something and put it out. Like we recorded a video of us playing FTL like a couple years ago in Texas.
Because that was our original podcast we wanted to do. And that shit was gonna be lit. Like we was ahead of the time before all this now podcasting started popping out. Like we was definitely a little bit ahead of the time because that shit was lit. That shit was lit.
I've got the video. We'll figure it out at some point.
I'd like to see that.
The remake is so good though. Barrett's corny. I think Barrett was kind of corny in the original one though. Like some of his lines just over the top.
Also, it gets a lot worse.
Also, how did you pronounce the word Mako when you were a kid?
Mako.
Right?
Yeah,
they kill me
okay.
every time they say Mako. I die a little bit inside.
It is kind of the thing when you read things, you kind of everything become like you kind of make everything like your own. I don't know, like when I was a kid, right, playing Final Fantasy VIII, I used to call Cipher because I was fucking 8 years old and I couldn't read. And I'm like, yep, that guy's name is Cipher. Like that's what his name. And you do that with the number of other characters and things. And then when you go and talk to other people, they're calling them different things, and you're like, oh shit. Like I called Irvin, and I like just all these different things. And so yeah, the whole Mako thing, I didn't know anybody on planet Earth that called it Mako. So for me, that's like a big. The Final Fantasy VII is so old. I actually wonder in like Advent Children, what do they call it?
They have to refer to it at some point, right?
Right. I'm interested now. Did they do just like a big switch, or? Yeah, I'm not into the whole Mako thing. It don't feel right.
I wish there should be an option to switch over the pronunciation.
Right, like you could switch the Japanese dialogue. It's just like Mako, swap it to Mako. No more Mako. Like
You remember Metal Gear Solid, the ration? I used to call it a ration.
oh wow,
oh my god,
I called it a ration. Actually, that's funny. A ration. Yeah.
Let's see. Otherwise, I've been playing the hell out of some Star Wars Squadron, dude.
How is that?
Dude, I'm late. I'm late in the game, but it's so much fun. You get a squad of like 5 people together and just go and do dogfights or the big fleet battles. You just feel like you're in a Star Wars movie. Like it's awesome.
Playing on PC?
PC, but it's crossplay.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
Really nice.
Mm-hmm.
That
That's
was
awesome.
dope. Did you ever play? Go ahead, don't remember.
I played the first mission. I was like doing that, and I liked it. It very unique way of like a new unique take on flying, because you have like a power gauge and you have to like scale back your weapons so that you can move faster, and then scale back your movement speed so you can have more weapons. It's they did it very clever. I like that about the game, and it looks amazing.
The controls are so weird. Like it takes so much getting used to. Corey had to tweak the hell out of his controls to be able to play. I've been playing with a controller. But I tried playing keyboard and mouse, and it just broke my brain every time I try to do anything in that game.
Really? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's not quite as bad as like Elite Dangerous or something. Because
Okay.
Elite Dangerous, like you have to have the cheat sheet there, like next to your screen, so you can figure out what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, because that's what I was gonna ask. Because Corey, I think, got me to buy Elite Dangerous, I believe, and I played quite a few hours in that game, and I still don't know how to play. I don't know how to fly, which is like a big aspect of the game, and I don't really know what to do. So
I think I'm broke now. I think I ran into a space station too much, and they fined me, and they took away all my money, so now I can't do anything.
The fuck?
So,
That sucks.
so the controls are better than Elite Dangerous. That's good.
Yeah.
Have you ever played the Final Fantasy? Oh my god, the Star Wars X-wing, like the LucasArts game back in the 90s on the PC?
I never played any of those. I've watched some people play them though, and they have that same kind of cockpit view where it's I mean it's obviously inspired by those games, right?
Yeah. I also never played it, but I've seen people play. I was curious like how it compared. Because I have some friends that played that game back in the day, and it's like some of their like fondest memories of like how hard that game was, but like how rewarding it was to like to pull shit off. Yeah.
No, it's a solid series, dude. Like it's not a series. It's such a good game. The dogfighting gets a little goofy sometimes because sometimes dogfighting is just cranking back the throttle all the way and turning your ship into basically just like a turret and blowing people up with that. There's lots of jousting, just back and forth, running at each other.
Is this similar to Star Fox? Like, remember how Star Fox on 64 used to be, like in the space battles when they used to shoot? Is it somewhat like that? Because I haven't played or Squadron at all. But
what do you think, Joe?
I would say not really, because Star Fox you'd have to press a button to do like a flip. This is like free flying. You could just go any direction. Star Fox
Oh.
really was like a left and right, or they would take you in a direction. But
And that game was like pretty on rails. Like the game was taking you in a direction, and you could like move like 2D on the screen that's going in the third dimension.
Mhm.
Yeah, like Dory said, this game's like it's also like an FPS. So like, yeah, it's like you're sitting in the cockpit looking at all your controls. But this shit would be like a crazy VR game. Like,
it is in VR.
Yeah, one of us is playing with like his Rift headset on. He said it's wild. He's it's the best way to play apparently. But obviously he's got like dogs that he's watching and shit like that. And so he was like, yeah, he's like, I can't play it in VR all the time because we've got this dog that I've got to watch him because every 5 minutes he'll try to destroy something or pee on something.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
No, man, I can't recommend it enough. The single player campaign's pretty good. Playing with your buddies, doing like a 5v5 like fleet battle or something, just awesome. I'm running a ship that's just glass cannon, dude. Just I boost my weapons. I've got these guns that are just do a shitload of damage, but they're hard to aim. And I just run in like a dickhead and try to take out other squadrons.
Running gunner.
Just no shields, no armor, nothing. Just all guns.
I heard like the single player is really just focused more to teach you how to play multiplayer. Like really, it's more of a multiplayer game, but like the single player is like a long tutorial.
Yep.
so you fly like a TIE fighter? Like,
Yes.
they don't got shields, you know? Like only the X-Wings got shields in Star Wars.
Yep.
Yep.
So you just flying the fucking no armor ship. You just fast and going for it. Like,
man, the one that I can't figure out how to fly is the B-wing, dude. Because they have the B-wing bombers, and they have those gravity bombs or whatever that fall like straight down,
so
and you can swing like the tail of the ship around. I have not figured out how the fuck to use those things on capital ships.
Yeah, that was so dumb. The fact that you're in outer space and they drop bombs like vertically with it makes no fucking sense.
I mean,
everything should just be like a rocket. Like it's faster. It won't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Maybe it goes straight down because there's like it's being pushed with like force. You know what I mean? Like because with a rocket, when you shoot it, it's the burnt like the propelled diesel, the fuel, whatever that's doing it is pushing it force. Maybe it's like that in space with the rockets. I don't know.
We all saw the second movie out of the new trilogy, that garbage, where they're flying the slowest fucking ships on planet Earth or in the galaxy, I guess, or not, and they're just going and going, and they're getting taken out one at a time, and they're just slowly flying towards the Star Destroyer in hopes that they could drop. And it's like why don't you just shoot like the same bomb, but it has a rocket, and then it could just like destroy the ship? Like, I don't know.
Old movies, man.
Maybe the weaponry's too advanced. I don't know. It seemed dumb to me.
Star Wars ship like the ship battles in Star Wars are dumb in general though, man, right? Because like George Lucas, like he wrote it like based on World War II like dogfighting and whatnot, and that shit doesn't work in space. In space, you would you'd be going and you just use your gyro jets or something to flip your fucking ship backwards and just shoot the person chasing you.
Right.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't lose any momentum right? You would just like turn the ship around, flying. Now you're in reverse. You could just shoot and just go flip right back around and just keep going. Like,
yeah, real space battles be dumb as hell.
Doughboy,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask Doughboy, is he still playing Persona 5?
Yeah, I'm still on that, but I also started playing Demon Souls for PS5.
Oh no shit.
That's very impressive, yo. If that's what if that's what PS5 has to offer, like graphically and I played Demon Souls a long time ago, so this is like the first time coming back to it. I remember that game used to be very, 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 very hard for me, but I guess I've played enough Souls games to I got the swing of it, and I'm like kind of running through it now. I'm having a lot of fun, and I think really like that dragon scared the shit out of me at one point. When it's like after you beat the first boss, you're like running across these bridges. I know, and you have to like run quick because like the dragon will keep doing loops. and like even that, very well done. I think it's beautiful. It looks good. The sound, like everything, they hit it. They hit the nail on the head in that game. I like it a lot. Um, I've also been playing. What else have I been playing? I've been playing. Wow, got brain farted. I forgot. I think Dirt 5, and then other than that, no, it's been a rotation. Oh, the Ace Combat. I've been playing Ace Combat again, and like that's a lot of fun. Like I
That shit
enjoy the
isn't
Ace
that like
Combat
like a
games.
real simulating type game? Like that shit's like
It's leaning more on like arcadey
okay.
simulation. It's like it trying to like an arcade game based in simulation. So it's a lot of fun. That's more in the lines of like a Squadrons game,
Mhm.
but it's a lot of fun.
Those games, the story's still batshit. It's like Metal Gear, but
It's pretty good, believe it or not. Like this one even was very good too. The campaign story. Like I like Shattered Skies. I like that was like my favorite Ace Combat game for the PlayStation 2. And I really haven't picked it up until this one. They tried to make like a free to play Ace Combat game for PS3 and it just did not work. And this is like the first real one that they made in a long time. And it's real good. It has VR as well. The VR in this game is impressive.
I don't want
Um,
VR at all, by the way. Like
I want the
until they
next
make it
VR.
better, I wouldn't. I don't want that shit.
I want PSVR 2.
PS what?
PSVR 2. I'm waiting for that. I'm gonna get that.
I want
Supposedly it's supposed to be wireless. It's gonna be good.
I want my VR to be like the Sega Genesis. I want to use that activator to fight.
I don't know
Y'all
what you're
remember the
talking
Sega
about.
Activate? Do you not remember the Sega
No, I'm gonna
Activator?
look it up. What do you wear? It's like some.
It went on the floor. It was like this octagon. You like put your hands through, and it hit the different button.
Fucking terrible.
What?
it's like the Nintendo Power Mat.
I'm watching it right now.
That shit is terrible.
Fucking Sega.
Oh my
It's just that the
god.
graphics are. My thing with the VR is that the graphics are they're just shitty. You know what I mean? Because they haven't really. To me, I don't think they've really built onto it. Like the Oculus, I heard one of my friends got it, and he says, "Oh, that shit's amazing." And I'm just like, damn, the PlayStation VR is really. I seen like the Half-Life game on the VR. It looks terrible. And I also seen Hitman 3 on the VR. That shit is also terrible. And it has a lot of bad issues where like when you're shooting somebody, the aiming's not right. So it's shooting everywhere else. So then all the guys start turning around and just start shooting at you. So I'm just like, those are little things that's like they need to work on it a little bit more before I buy $300 worth of fucking VR shit. You know what I mean?
I think you tripping. I thought Half-Life Alyx looked amazing from what I saw. And
Nah.
anything you read about it, the people say with the headset on, it looks even more incredible than they're saying that the footage that you see doesn't do it any justice. Like
Oh, okay.
of,
Then
of
because
course, of course, VR, given the circumstances, graphically isn't going to be on par with non-VR games. I don't think I don't know when or if we'll ever get there. But
But I think the difference also is the game from the ground up VR made for VR, or is it a port of a game that they like had some VR elements put in? And I feel like you could tell when a game isn't built from the ground up VR, like made for like a VR, and it's just kind of gimmicked in, like it's gimmicked its way into the game.
huh.
yeah,
Oh, I've got one more game to shout out. Monster Train. Have any of y'all looked into Monster Train?
No,
Never
what's
even
never
that?
heard
heard
of
of them.
this.
It's a roguelite deck building game. It's basically like you're on this train and you're going to hell for some reason. I haven't paid attention to the plot really. Basically, you go through the stages, you upgrade your shit, you fight a boss every time, and the boss is there's a bunch of like enemies that you fight, like little tiny enemies, and then the big boss comes and you fight them. And there's basically 3 levels to your monster train, and you put creatures in there, you cast spells and shit, and it's just about building out your deck and trying to make it to the end. It's pretty solid. It's got lots of FTL vibes because there's branching paths and branching decisions to make. Upgrade cards,
It's
upgrade your
crazy. It's
monsters.
got good ratings. It's 10 for 10 on Steam, 9 for 10 on IGN, and 77%
Oh
on the PC
wow.
Gamer.
It is a solid game.
I gotta check that out.
It's especially a good one for I don't feel like paying attention to anything. I'm just gonna put on some YouTube nonsense and play a game.
Yeah. I'm really not a fan too much of games like that, but I mean, it's always, you never know until you try it out. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm a
I
fan.
like the rogue games. I have never gotten into any of the like deck building games. Like, is maybe I'm tripping. Is Slay the Spire like somehow like a deck building game? Like I've heard a lot of good things about it, and like when I looked into it, I was like, I don't know if I could get into the whole deck aspect.
Slay the Spire is probably the one it's the most like. I think it's by the same people. It might be by the same people. But man, Slay the Spire was so fucking good.
There's like Hands of Fate too, right? There's a game called Hands of Fate.
Mm-hmm. I've only played the first one.
Is that a rogue as well?
It's another rogue deck building kind of game.
Yeah, I tried it because I think I got it for free on PS4 at some point. So I own that one, I think. And I don't know. I tried it. I couldn't get into it. I don't know. I just haven't been able to get into the whole deck building thing.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, like it's like y'all love Enter the Gungeon, and I could never get into that fucking game.
Yeah,
my favorite games of all time, next to like Binding of Isaac. Oh, you know what deck building game I have been playing on my phone? Mobile game alert, guys! Mobile game alert. South Park Phone Destroyer. I play that a lot.
I was playing that one for a little bit. That game is surprisingly fun.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It is a mobile game with microtransactions, but it feels a little more fair in my opinion. But I did just dump like $60 into it. So
did you really?
How much do you think you spent all time on that game?
Oh, on this game, not too much. Probably all time with this 60 and maybe $40. So maybe $100 altogether.
Didn't you play a Simpsons card game?
That I dumped a lot of money into.
Is it a card game?
It's terrible. The game is like almost nothing. There's like you download the game and like there's literally nothing to do in that game. They have a story, but it's like I said, after a while you're just like really you're building the Simpsons town like in whatever way you want, and I guess like there's like a you can design the town the way you want. It's kind of like Sim City, but with the sim like no sim aspect. It's terrible.
How is that the game that got you to dump a bunch of money into it?
I don't know. I think
they're good at it, bro.
Yeah,
it's like you just download the game and there's nothing to do. there's like no game at all. I'm so confused. You've been telling me about this game for years, and I mean I guess I could look into it, but I'm enjoying the aspect that I just have no idea what you do or how you spend money in this
game. You have to like really enjoy the Simpson characters in the Simpson world because they do have like a big story, but other than that, like there's nothing in there. Except for Simpson characters and building, and that's it, and story elements.
Like, what's your estimate for how much money you spent on that game?
I spent like $100 or more on that game. Yeah, I spent a lot of money on that game.
Definitely topped you. Playing Fortnite, I spent like $200.
No shit.
On strictly fucking cosmetics, bro. Like
no,
that,
dude.
Bro, it's crazy. I don't even. At one point, I'm like, yo, let me go back to all these cosmetics that I have. And I look at it, I'm just like, yo, I really spent. Because you start doing the math, you're like, yo, that's $200 on fucking cosmetics. I'm just looking at myself like, why? And from that day forward, I just like, I don't know how it just gets you because it's just this one clothes, and then you go, yeah, I like that, and then you go, it's like it just keeps on going and going and going. Then you realize you're like in the hole for X amount of money. It's just like, fuck, like I really spent that much on this fucking shit, like really.
Y'all remember that Smurfs mobile game where like the kids could spend like up to like $5,000 with like 2 clicks, and there were a bunch of parents all pissed off because they were like fucking $10,000 on my bill because my kid clicked 4 times.
Nah, I would get a refund quick.
It was a big
parents did. They made like I don't know who. I know like iPhone, like Apple got mad about it, and they were like making certain requirements so that like it's not so easy for some kid to like come and just like spend all your money and shit. But,
yeah,
yeah. For me, I don't have a lot of experience I don't know. I feel like I'm so frugal that I just don't do the whole microtransaction thing. Like the only game that ever got me was Rocket League. I might have spent like 15, maybe $20, like tops, on like the first. They had made like a couple of DLCs, and each of the DLCs released like new cars. And my logic was like, I got the game for free through PlayStation Plus, so fuck it. I'm playing the shit out of this game. So I had bought like all the DLCs as they came out. But now they've gone to like a free to play model where like you fucking gotta pay for like keys and coins and chests, and it's a whole. And I haven't spent a fucking dime, and I have no ambition for any of the cosmetics in the game. Like,
Yeah.
Deep Rock Galactic for me. I bought the the extra DLC that was just all cosmetic. Because man, that game was so enjoyable. That was one of the best games I was playing last year. Was Deep Rock Galactic.
No, yeah. What is that game about? I never really heard that shit before. Like,
it's a co-op game. You're playing as 4 space dwarves. You go and you fly into different places, and you're gathering minerals and shit like that. And there's bugs that are attacking you. You have guns. There's 4 different kinds of classes.
All right. That's the first time I ever heard of it. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, I've never heard of it before.
It's a solid co-op game. And it's got my favorite feature in a co-op game. There's a key you can press that just makes your dwarf just yell shit. Kind of like Chivalry. If you remember Chivalry, where you could just scream while you were running. Same kind of thing.
That was the fucking best, dude. You just start. There's just a scream button. For honor, what is it? For chivalry. They just start screaming.
Terrible.
That was the best. A scream button.
Every game should have one.
That's crazy.
I'm on board with that.
But yeah, I mean, I guess that's pretty much it for the day. I mean, I don't got nothing else to there is one thing. Do you guys think that for the PS5, right, are they gonna drop a whole new Bad Company? Like, cause I know Doughboy last time talked about it, and I've read some reviews, not a review, but like some information on it from like 2 days ago, and they have no plans. From what they're saying, they have no plans to drop in a Bad Company.
That's a shame, because that's probably my favorite shooter series of all time.
I also read that it's not going to be a Bad Company. It's also now, because before it was only supposed to be for future consoles, but now there is going to be a PS4 and Xbox One X version as well. But there's going to be huge differences because they don't want it to be like oh, it's just the PS5 version with turned down graphics. So the games are going to be a lot different. Like I from what I heard, the battles on the PS5 are going to be 128 players or like more now. It's going to be 64 versus 64 on that.
So it's not going to be like crossplay between the console versions?
Not a PS4 to PS5, not in that direction. Not like it's the old consoles will have their own
servers. Okay. Yeah.
That's fine, I think. So that way the graphics not fucked up.
But it made me excited. Like 128 players on, those maps are very big. It might feel more populated now. Like,
yeah, most definitely. I like that. Well, if you stuck around this long during the podcast, I appreciate it. We all thank you. Please hit that like and subscribe button, man. We honestly like doing this, and we want to continue to keep doing it. And I want to thank you guys who keep watching through the whole show, and I really appreciate you. Yeah,
the comments, the likes, even the dislikes, because we need it. Like,
yeah, let us know what we need to fix.
I don't dislike my shit.
Although, you know what? I'm not even gonna bring it up. If you dislike it or like it, yo, that's your opinion.
If you dislike it, just know that Bucha wants to punch you in the face.
That's a fact.
100%.
No, it was actually Tony. We got a dislike. Tony got all pissed. He's like, "Who the fuck? YouTube won't let me see who disliked it."
Yeah, I'm kind of tight that YouTube won't let me see that shit. I want to see who disliked it. I want to, but it's whatever. Everybody has their own opinion. It's not that big of a deal. But Once again, this is the One Up Podcast. I am your host, El Caballo, a.k.a. Tony, here with Doughboy, Mateo, and Pucho. And thank you for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good night.
I guess.